So first things first, hello everybody! My name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD, and welcome tonight to a very exciting episode of We Need to Talk, the podcast that makes me lose my sanity every single time I have to sit down together with Wrath and then figure out what the fuck is going on with my audio.
Audio's good, by the way.
Thank you. Well,
that's not nice.
Because the reason why is we did a podcast episode last night, and I was really looking forward to it because I went out and I got myself a lavalier microphone, which I clipped to my suit jacket. And when the interview was going on, I thought that the lavalier was working perfectly fine. And then afterwards, I listened to the Twitch live stream. You know, I listened to the video, and I'm like, oh no, what is going on? Why is it not picking up anything? And then after I made some minor changes, Wrath just said, oh yeah, now I can hear you. And I'm like, you couldn't hear me before?
I was like, no, I can hear you. I mean, everyone that we were, like, I monitored the chat and no one was like, nah, he sounds weird. He sounds off. Sounds anything. I'm like, okay, then maybe it's just me.
Yeah, so next time, what I'm going to do actually tomorrow before our next interview guest, I am going to attempt to do a journalism stand-up because I'm planning a video anyway on IGN. They have a reviewer who goes by the name of Will Borger who recently did a pretty infamous review of Mouse PI for Hire. To the point where everybody is now dunking on it. It's a massive swing and a miss from him.
I heard about that, yeah. I read a little bit on it, yeah.
It's basically one of the more infamous quotes from IGN. One of them being too much water as a negative for a video game, and I believe that was for Windbreaker.
I remember the one for Resident. I remember the one for Resident Evil 2 where a journalist was complaining that there was too much violence in a zombie game and how they were upset that they couldn't leave supplies behind for other survivors or something or another.
Yeah, it's not that kind of game. And honestly,
I'll be like, well, I'm glad that you have a sense of humanity, but it's not that kind of game, sweetheart.
Yeah. And so I'm going to be doing this piece, but the very first thing I did is like, okay, well, if I'm going to be making this video, I need to reach out to the journalist and find him and track him down and ask if he's willing to possibly give a comment on the backlash or of the story that I'm about to do, because that's ethical journalism. You got to do that. If it's
part of me wants to be on the show so I can literally, not try to destroy him, but try to be like, so, when he said, like, one of his critiques was there will be no crime in the city because your main character literally killed everybody, and I'm like,
not quite,
it's a
but
boomer
similar.
shooter.
Yeah,
I'm like, somewhere around those lines. I'm like, well, it's a boomer shooter. They got to give you something to shoot at.
By the way, so normally I'm used to having someone show off their VTuber avatar, and then I'll do the cut between myself and them. But I guess you're still on your stream right now, aren't you, Sharptooth?
I am, yes.
Okay, cool. So we'll fuck it, we ball kind of situation. Let's get into the nitty gritty. So you started your YouTube channel fairly early, according to sources, March 9th, 2022. Have you had like another channel or another source of live streaming, or were you on YouTube or Instagram or anything before this?
Well, I don't stream on YouTube. Not really. I streamed on there maybe once or twice, but it didn't really work. So I'm actually here soon possibly dual streaming on TikTok and on Twitch, but I do all my streaming on Twitch as of right now, relatively speaking.
So I have been watching some of your live streams, and I do have some questions.
Ask away.
Well, let's first talk about your character model. So you're a green goblin / ethereal creature hybrid from Dimensions Unknown. If I'm paraphrasing correctly?
I I am a memetic being. I'm. It's very common for people to think I'm a goblin because I'm green, but no, I'm a memetic being. I'm basically. You ever play Resident Evil? Was it 7 or 8? No, 7. You ever play 7?
I believe I have. I played Resident Evil Resident Evil Floor. I played Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, and I think I played Resident Evil 7. Which one was 7 again?
7 was the one we're in Louisiana with the rednecks.
Yes, 7 is.
Yes,
what we
I
call
did
the
play
new
that
generation.
one.
You remember how there were things that were there that weren't actually there because they were just in your head?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm that. I'm a cognito hazard. I'm a memetic being.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but people very commonly do think I'm a goblin.
So this
You got
is
that goblin energy, though.
lucid dream as a result of swamp gas. Either that or I am off my goddamn rocker from my day job and I am imagining you right now.
Exactly.
Too many shrooms, man. Too many shrooms.
I have a physical body that is hidden somewhere, and I project this image into people's minds to communicate, interact. I have basically, what is it? I'm a little stoned right now, so what was it called? Alter people's perception alteration, physical touch, sense, smell, hearing, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So here's a question. You are currently on substances. Are you the edible type? Are you the smoking type? How do you mellow thine fuck out?
Both, but it's usually edibles.
Okay.
Very rarely I drink alcohol, but most of the time it's edibles.
I'm more of like
yeah. I don't really do anything else beyond that when it comes to getting stoned. I don't really have any desire to try mushrooms or acid, and I definitely don't want to do anything else higher than that.
No.
Yeah. There's a podcast that I watch very rarely, but it's called Behind the Bastards, and they were talking about because the person who does it, Robert Evans, he also wrote an entire book called The History of Vice, and he has done a lot of drugs.
Oh shit.
But one of the things that he mentions on his podcast is like, yeah, I will always remember the drug advice one of my high school teachers taught me, and they basically said something to the equivalent of, look, we can't prevent you from doing drugs.
Yeah.
And it's okay to experiment. It's okay to do things just so long as you know within your bounds and reason or whatever. But for the love of God and all that's holy, don't do anything that you have to inject into yourself. Because if you're going to do that, there's a good chance you can't be saved.
Yeah.
And so I respect that deeply. Do you just take it as a form of mellowing out? Like, I know that my sis, she's not really my sister. She's my roommate who kind of acts as my sister. She takes it originally for like joint pain.
I have something similar. I have back pains.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually taken mostly for the sake of just mellowing out.
Mm-hmm.
But it does help with my back problems. Because I have like a long history. My family has a long history of back problems.
You're actually going to now allow me to segue into my very first thing as part of my fact checking. So you have a very interesting relationship with death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you fell off of a roof and hit your head on impact. Now, first of all, what were you doing up on that roof?
Oh, well, it wasn't a roof. I was on one of those giant inflatable things slides. I think I got bumped and it kind of rolled over the edge.
So like on a giant inflatable
but it was
slides.
Yeah,
like
but it was
bouncy
roof.
Slide?
It was roof. Yeah, it was roof height though.
Jesus fucking Christ! Were you? Did you have to be rushed to the hospital or anything? Or?
I just got up and walked off.
Walked it off.
That's not even the worst one. I've suffered so much worse shit.
I've got a list of some of them, and I'm going to go down because here I have some of them, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to need a little bit more backstory into it. You also have drowned.
Yep, I was dead for 10 minutes.
You were declared dead on the scene. Obviously they resuscitated you. What was the story involving that?
I was it was my brother's birthday. We were swimming around. I got to the deep end of the pool, and then I woke up on the side of the pool, and my dad was crushing my sternum trying to resuscitate me.
Jesus.
I suffered like some memory loss from that, and I think that I have some underlying memory issues because of it as well.
It must have been a very traumatic experience. If that
It was at the time.
Yeah.
I learned from it though. When I initially afterwards I was scared of water, but eventually I got the fuck over it and realized didn't want that to control me, so I just moved on and I use it as a way to take and have perspective on life and stuff. So
Well,
I kind of turned into a positive.
I'm glad that you were able to get over that. Is not, it's a very glib way of saying it. I'm glad that you are no longer shackled by it, as it
Yeah.
because it is a very, like, if something like that happened to me, I don't know if I'd be able to fully get over that. Like I've had restaurants I've got food poisoning from, and I don't go there anymore. So God only knows what'll happen if I decide to.
I am here. I am not going to Sonny's Barbecue ever again.
These are American restaurants that I would have no fucking idea about.
I
just wouldn't go back there anymore. After this past vacation I was on, 4 days of constantly spewing out everything.
No.
Yeah, gross.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, no, it happens. But I've always had an aspect of just speed bumps in life. I've had some really heartbreaking stuff happen in the past and scary shit happen in the past, and I'm just like, well, that happened. That was neat. And then I just keep fucking trucking forward. I don't really worry about shit that's happened in the past too much. I learn from it and just move on. But I know not everybody has that ability, especially with such grim things like dying and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I like once again, I'm lucky in the sense that I haven't had near death experiences, but I've had near crippling experiences. And
Yeah.
if things went wrong, if I fell a certain way, there's a chance that I would not be as active as I am now. So
yeah, I got you.
But so I have other ones that are on here. So you got punched by a wall of beer? Question mark?
I was basically in the back of an 18-wheeler, and we were backing up to the dock of to take and drop off our pallet of beer. And this was about, they were, I think, 24 packs of Coors Light, or maybe it was Miller Lite. I don't really remember. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I got hit kind of hard. Anyway, the pallet jack got stuck between the two, the dock and the trailer, because it didn't quite get all the way in. The wheel was stuck there. So I tell the driver, I was like, hey, go get in the driver's seat, pull it back forward just a little bit so it can take and push out of the way. He's like, okay, cool. And I pressed myself against it. So when he did, and the wheel got pushed upward, the beer wouldn't fall downward. So I pressed myself up against it, and I felt the truck shake. So I was like, oh, he moved it. Cool. He backed up. He did not back up. That was the car getting out of brake. And I let go, and when I did, he actually backed up, and the fucking wall of beer slammed into me and launched me across the trailer.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I was a little sore that day, but I got up and walked it off.
Well, what you've told me about your back issues, like that could have been really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm borderline indestructible, I think. I think if a revolver pointed at me, it would jam if someone tried to shoot me.
You say that now.
It kind of reminds me of this video I once saw, and I'm going to deem it to you in a second, about death constantly trying to go after somebody, but the guardian angel keeps screwing him over.
Fish want me, death fears me. What can I say?
So here, I'm going to send it to you right now. There you go.
Oh, should I watch it now?
I don't
I'll
know.
watch it later.
I'm still going
Yeah,
to be
you can watch it later.
I'm still going to be talking and asking you questions anyway. So
Go for it.
Okay.
we'll go there. One final one that I have written down, and this one is a question mark because I'm like, I don't understand what the you mean by this.
Okay.
Something about almost being a prison ring or prism ring rolling on you or something like that.
No. So what happened was I used to work at a prison. I hated that job. I actually got so angry there I started bleeding internally.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had to leave because of that. And the prison thing I'll tell you in a second was also a thing that also made me want to leave because nothing wound up happening to the guy. Anyway, so in a prison you have generally two different areas. You have GP, which is general population. Guys can
Okay.
walk around, no big deal.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly loose. The other side, and a little segmented side, which is like higher security, it's called ADSEG, aggravated segregation. For one reason or another, these guys are separated from the rest of them. Maybe they're more violent, maybe they're gang leaders, maybe they're known for spreading narcotics, and a number of things. Doesn't really matter. So I went down to the ADSEG side, because that's the side I usually work, 12-hour shifts, and I went over there, and you have something in the center of all these wings at the end of this larger wing called a rotunda. Rotundas, they control the doors on on the minor wings, and on one of the wings that I went down, we'll call it E-wing. I went down the wing, and I believe it was on one of the higher spots that like overlooks another area. And I had to go get an inmate because he needed to go to the center of the prison to make a phone call or something. I don't remember. Irrelevant and really. So I went over there to go get him, and they had to stick their hands up this thing called a bean slot, which is something that you stick your arms up so they can get handcuffed behind you. We can also feed you food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we were having problems getting the door, so I had to go get a key, come back, and I had to talk to the officer. We'll call him Mike. Okay.
Okay.
Officer Mike is profoundly known to be impressively stupid. Very, very, very stupid.
Nice.
And he even talks like you would imagine an idiot to talk like. So I talked to him. It's like, Officer Mike, I need to take and open up this door over here. You remember, I will not dox myself. That's why I called him Mike.
Yeah.
And I have a name in the prison. So I said, Officer Mike, I need you to take and open up this center door over here, E14 or whatever. There's like 1 to 26 on these cells, okay? I said, Officer Mike, I need to take and open up these cells. Now, you see that panel over there? He goes, yeah. You see where that bar is right there? It's under a bunch of switches that control each door. He goes, yeah. That first notch where the handle should be sitting at takes and has a shield that makes it to where inmates cannot take and mess with the locking mechanism themselves. He goes, okay. That second notch takes and makes it to where that shield lifts up. He goes, okay. That third notch, the one you're not going to take it to, opens all the doors. Do not put it on the third notch, Officer Mike. He goes, all right, gotcha. I said, no, repeat it back to me. He repeats it back to me. I'm like, cool. This fucking idiot understands for once.
Yeah.
I go to the center. I said, this is Officer Sharptooth. I need you to take and open up blah, 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 blah. This is after I got the guy to put his hands to the bean slot and cuff him and stuff. It was cool. So I hear the lock lift, the shutter. I hear it. He goes, okay. And as the inmate has the cuffs on, and as I am getting ready to reach up there to take and put the key in, I hear from my left to my right, I hear shoon, 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 shoon.
Oh, no.
And my eyes go wide. I was like, oh, fuck. And I grab the door, I slam it open, I push the inmate all the way to the back, turn him around. I said, this is Officer Sharp on E-Wing, whatever row. I need backup right now. I was like, I have I think it was an ICS or something or another.
Yeah.
And my sergeant goes, Officer Sharp, I need you to calm down. I was like, and I just interrupted him, which you're not supposed to do. I said, this is Officer Sharp on blah, blah. I need backup right damn now. And they go, oh, okay, we'll be right there right now. And so they just start hauling ass. And one hand, I was battle ready. On one hand, I had my bean slot bar, which is a cast iron fork, essentially. You can use to very easily club someone's head in. And in my left hand, I hold a can of mace that I was at the battle ready for them to charge in. The mace sucks because if I get hit with it, I'm also going to be blind. But at least I'll blind maybe one or two people before they get in there. Mind you, there's 20 other grown-ass men in there who spend most of their life working out. None of them are going to get to leave. They're jacked to their mind. Some of them are strung out on drugs, maybe. So I'm just ready for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And nothing happens. And I keep waiting and nothing happens. And some of the inmates start giggling and laughing because the ring I was on was Mexican Mafia. And the Mexican Mafia, believe it or not, in prison at least, have rules. And if you break those rules, you get in trouble with the other guys who are in charge of like the Mexican Mafia there. So for the sake of the people in there who are just there because they're gang leaders and they don't want to have their fucking day ruined because some jackass decided to stab a guard or have a hostage or whatever like that, nothing happens. And they all start laughing because they think it's funny. They get to walk out of their cells for a minute and then they go back into their deal. And I have about 20 other officers that show up there to take and help me out. And I walk up to the main guy and I start laying into him with every fucking word I know in the book, just about. And I was royally pissed because I didn't think about the time what ring I was on. And it might sound like it was inconsequential, but if it was on like anything past E-wing, especially the very end, like L or before that, there's a pretty fair chance I'd be dead or maimed or horrible things would happen to me, or thrown off the fucking railing and crash into it and break my legs. Any number of things could have happened to me, and I would not have been rescued immediately. They would have sent in back. They would have armored up dudes first, and then come got me, and hopefully get me out of there. They won't negotiate either.
I mean,
so yeah,
I'm glad that I'm glad that you're all right. It's just one of those things where it's like when something possibly catastrophic happens, you're kind of just, you're sitting there focusing on, okay, rather than where am I, what do I do?
Exactly. It was very scary. I that's one of the reasons why I quit. And they didn't fire that guy. Despite the next week somehow losing a handcuff key. Which just blew my fucking mind.
Not the best and brightest people make it into law enforcement, and I don't mean that as an insult.
The bar was really low there.
So,
but yes, continue.
Well, those are the ones that I have written down so far. Do you have any other brushes with death that I should be aware of?
I drove under a truck one time.
So, like, was your vehicle damaged from that, or what was the case? Like,
I mean, my car was beat up, but it was still, I think the axle popped because the truck was sitting on top of it, but I was fine otherwise.
Okay.
I've had a fireball go off in my face, and it didn't burn myself, just lost my eyebrows for a week.
I want a little bit more context for that because this is fascinating.
I hadn't so for a large portion of my childhood I had done like bonfires and stuff, and so I had experience, but by this point it had been about 4 or 5 years since I'd had experience doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at this girl's house and I was trying to, impress her and stuff like that, and I used gasoline to start the fire, and the lighter wasn't lighting, and I got way too close and it went off in my face.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I've had brushes with death and somehow managed to not get severely injured except for the time I drowned.
I mean, it's just insanity, because the only brush with death I would probably say for me would be drinking gasoline when I was a kid.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he told me about the story yesterday.
But no, that's all the ones I can remember.
Still, those fucking harrowing shit. So, if you don't mind me asking, because I have noticed something through some of the stories that you are sharing with me, you have a very interesting job history. And
oh yeah, I've worked a lot of jobs.
I think you can actually give me a run for my money, because normally I stay at a job for maybe about 2 years at most, and then I jump and do something like really bizarre. Like right now, I'm a delivery driver for Amazon, but I've worked as a streetcar driver. I've worked on film and television sets. I was working on the first season of Beast Games for Mr. Beast, which was an odd. That was an odd story.
I imagine so.
But like call centers to like movie theaters to driving various different vehicles to like you name it, I've pretty much done it. I think the only thing I have yet to do is glory hole attendant. But who knows? Maybe one day in the future. But
don't sell your shows short. You can do it. I believe in you.
Well, it better be soon. My knees are starting to go. Sorry,
Lord.
was that not wholesome for you?
Oh
No, I was talking to Wrath.
Oh,
Down.
Wholesome
Down,
or some
Bob, down.
holes?
what about holes?
Digging them.
I'm doing holes. Oh.
So what made you want to get into live streaming, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, so at one point I streamed under a different name, and which was fine. I didn't really do all that well. I usually at maximum 3 viewers a stream, which at the time was okay, but I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And at some point, I've always wanted to, but I never took the leap to take and do it. I wanted to do voice acting.
Yep.
I wanted to take and get into doing voice work, and I was like, you know what? I can do good girl voices. I wonder if I could do some good hentai or good voice acting and stuff.
No.
And I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I talked to Caramel about it. She goes, yeah, go for it. Like, okay, cool. So I started doing it, and I noticed that, to my surprise, I started to pick up speed for quite a while. And it's like, okay, this is doing really well. And I was like, also, here's how they got Sharptooth as a name. A friend of mine commissioned another friend of mine to take into an art piece of my character at the time, when I was streaming previously. And the version they did of it, the character had sharp teeth. I was like, oh, okay. So I'll just name myself Sharptooth. And there you go, cool name. And it's easy, it's distinctful, it's easy to remember, and it's spelled with a U, so everyone knows it's spelled fucking weird. And so I went with Sharptooth, and I kept on doing voice acting, and I was getting better and better and better at it. And there is actually, before I started doing my streaming, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take and do 6 months of releasing some kind of voiced work every single day for 6 months. And I have been since that, I've been in over like, I think 500 plus different animations and stuff doing that. And I said, and then I used that to kind of launch into streaming. And at the time, I was making friends and some of the VTubers like, hey, yeah, you should do like VTubing and stuff. I'm like, it's like I could just do a whole rebrand. So I just went into taking doing this and wanted to take and do better at it. And yeah, it's been working kind of well, surprisingly.
Are you still doing voice acting, or are you on a bit of a okay, cool. Just making sure. Are you represented by a union like ACTRA or anything like that?
Oh no, I'm independent. Pretty much strictly
non-union.
I am
gotcha.
part of. I am part of a VTuber group called Umbra, which we work together and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm an independent. I'll either do the editing myself, or I usually do the voice acting. I've worked also with bigger names like Deeves and Moxie Floxy, and a couple of other big ones that for whatever reason escape me at the moment.
Opula? Opula?
Maybe, possibly. There's an entire chance that I've done it. So, but yeah, and I always take on like independent ones, and like right now, I think I got like 3 or 4 different jobs I got lined up right now. I got to take care of at some point.
Nice.
So keeps me busy. But I did voice acting just as a desire to create and game, because I like voice acting, but I also really like gaming. So, I balance it out between the two.
I totally dig it. Like, so one of the things that I was a part of, so I went to a voice acting workshop that was hosted by Ron Rubin. I was his celebrity handler at a convention called Pretty Heroes. And he basically turned to me and he's like, Matt, you should give this a shot. I'm like, the fuck? Why do you want me to do that? And he's like, you've got the attitude, you're bored and you're making up voices right here on the spot. Just go and do the workshop. Maybe you can learn a thing or two. And I went, and it's at that voice acting workshop where I met two of my best friends ever, like my ride or dies that I will take a fucking bullet for. This is how I met Harriet, by the way, Wrath.
Nice. Nice.
Aw.
Yeah. And like from that, like from hanging out with my friends who want to do voice acting projects, they keep asking me to do voiceover work. Like, have you ever heard of Lore Olympus?
Not familiar.
Okay. It's basically a modern romantic telling of Hades and Persephone, just in more modern times. And they're like, oh yeah, Matt, we're going over to Humber College to use their recording studios. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'll sit down and just, sit in the back. And they're like, oh, we have a character for you. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean you have a character for me? And through hanging out with them through doing like dry like line reads and stuff like that, I'm sitting there going like, I don't even care if this never becomes a thing. I'm just really enjoying the creative thing of like, oh, how do I come up with the right voice for this character, and doing stuff like that. And I did like casting directing where I actually reached out to other voice actors and brought them into the project, which was really fun. It was kind of like a voice acting summer camp kind of thing, except all on Discord. And like 70% of everyone was from Australia, and I don't know why.
Australia.
The Aussies, man. It's the Aussies.
I'd love to do something like that. That sounds like a fucking blast.
Well, like, so here's the thing. I know you're doing voice acting primarily. It's commission stuff, right? Like, how exactly are you doing your projects?
Well, usually, so I do it one of two different ways. I still occasionally do freebie jobs where I'll take and find something that I really like. I'm like, oh, that looks really sexy. Yeah. So I'll take and pull that to the side, and I'll take and voice it and put the like all the sound effects and stuff like that, and I'll just do it that. And those are my little promo freebie ones.
Mm.
And but usually, if I'm taking commissions, it's generally speaking through Twitter. People will take and hit me with whatever fetish they've got, and they're like, hey, can you do this, yay or nay? And I'm like, sure. And then that's pretty much how that all works.
Yeah.
Occasionally on Discord, and at one point I had somebody who was just emailing me for their work. They didn't want to do it through something else, so it's like, okay.
I mean, so long as the money's right,
right, as long as it comes through.
Surprisingly, there are a couple like subreddits that do not safe for work voice acting or whatever, and those fuckers are committed. And I surprisingly, like, I can't remember a lot of names, but like Ivy Wild is one of the names where I'm just sitting there going like, that girl's got some fucking talent, literal fucking talent. But
there's some really good voice actors out there. I have a few of them that I love them. I've gotten to talk to a few voice actors that I really looked up to and still do.
Yeah, because I know we have it's not on the docket yet. We're still trying to finalize like a date and time. Basically, you're an English adult voice actor. I managed to pick up a Japanese or Asian adult voice actor, and we're gonna go through basically. Because everyone has watched off-brand anime at one point in time in their lives.
Really, you're gonna call it off-brand anime?
Hey, I gotta be like Noble. I gotta mention Noble at least once.
Just call it what it is. Meat material. It's okay.
Look,
people have watched hentai at one point in time.
Samuel Jackson loves hentai, right? If
Absolutely.
Samuel Jackson has admitted on camera that he watches it and enjoys it, then I'm sorry. I'm going to like fuck hiding in the shadows. Bring this shit out.
Absolutely.
But apparently there's a term for how when they go really into it, and it's just a bunch of a cacophony of like different sounds and pitches and moans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, how did they do that? You know,
Lock in.
Yeah.
I mean, because an American dub, it's going to be completely different. But for over there, you're like, holy crap, he's really going into her. That sort of thing. And apparently there is a term for it, and I cannot remember it, but that's why I got her to, hopefully get her on the show one day to, explain like the steps to going into that particular version of adult voice acting.
So I'm going to
very-
casually just say, like, my Japanese is rusty. Nihongo wa muzikashi desu. But I would hope that this person can speak English better than I
They
can
can speak English.
Okay, better than
can
I can speak Japanese.
Like, I think English is like a very, very close second language to them, but not like in a bad way. But not in a bad way.
Well, they're
like they do have an accent, but it's completely 100% understandable.
I mean, so long as it's better than Hideo Kojima, I think we're off to a good start.
Or Slav jank talk is what we call it. Like the Eastern European is so thick, you're like, I'm sorry, bud, I can't.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Well, there.
I hear.
Sorry, have you ever watched the movie Snatch? Guy Ritchie, Brad Pitt's in it.
I'm unfamiliar.
Okay, so it's Brad Pitt's playing like a Northern Ireland boxer or whatever, but there's a cacophony of English accents from different regions all over England because it's an English crime drama. And there are people that are like I think their region is called Geordie or whatever, but the Geordie accent is like, I can't even understand a fucking word you're saying.
I think if anyone has watched How to Train Your Dragon, the animated ones, there's like a side character there that sounds like he's talking gibberish, but it's like a very thick Irish accent of some kind. I think it's the same one that Sonic is talking about.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, he's talking gibberish. He's like, no, I'm literally just talking. I'm literally saying the line here.
I'm not going to lie. I did. I got curious about like accents, right? And so I wandered online and I found out that the Irish accent is the Halifax accent. The Newfoundland accent out in Canada, because we have a variety of different accents as well. Out near Newfoundland, it sounds like I'm sitting there going like, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying, and they're like, oh, sorry, and then they go over to the corner and they speak to my Irish friends, and they're like, wait a minute, you guys are understanding each other?
Oh yeah, it's like with the Creole accent down here in Louisiana. It's like, if anyone has watched The Waterboy, and there's that one like fat white dude that's like on the sidelines.
It's been a long fucking time since I've seen Waterboy.
Like, it's that kind of guy.
Creole. I am in Texas, so we have lots of Creole people here near here.
But it's like that French Creole, and like you understand maybe a third of what they're saying, but everything else is kind of like, I gotta hear it like 3 times.
They're talking Boomhauer.
Yeah,
it's straight up Boomhauer.
Boomhauer,
it's Boomhauer
all the way.
It's Boomhauer.
You know what? Since we're talking about King of the Hill, have you seen the new season that came out?
Want to, but I'm busy with this and voice acting and work and life and everything.
All of the chaos of life.
Yeah.
Well, I want your thoughts, because you know all the characters, right?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
But
Vaguely. You know who Khan is, right?
Yes, I knew the normal
the main ones.
cast and the secondary characters.
So the new season that came out, or correction, the revival season that came out, the guy that voiced Khan also voiced I think he also voices Boomhauer as well. But so he used to voice Khan, but for the new for the revival season, they said, no, we're not going to have him voice Khan anymore. We're going to actually get someone who's actually Asian to voice Khan.
Makes sense.
Which I'm like, okay. I mean, if they can produce that cadence that we all associate Khan for, then all for it. The person they got, now you got to remember, this revival season takes place about 10 years after the very last episode. So everyone's like in their 50s and 60s or pushing 70.
They're much older. Yeah.
A lot older. So Khan finally has an episode where he finally shows up, and the voice actor they got makes him sound like he's in his early 30s.
I would say late 20s to early 30s. So the voice actor in question is Ronnie Chang. If you watch The Daily Show, or if you're familiar with his stand-up comedy.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I think me and Caramel actually just watched that like 2 nights ago, one of his stand-ups.
Yeah, the problem with Ronnie Chang is that he doesn't
good comedian, good voice,
great comedian, but he's kind of comes from the Vic Mignogna school of I'm only good at the one voice and that's it. So Ronnie Chang's stand-up is the same as Ronnie Chang on The Daily Show, which is the same as Ronnie Chang playing Khan, and as a result, the voice casting probably made a mistake. But like he's got Hollywood background, but it doesn't work.
Like if you listen to him, you can tell that
forecasting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to him, you could tell that he's trying to get that Khan influence in there, that Khan cadence.
But sticking it.
But it's just he's just too young for the role. I don't think he can do like an older Khan, because when you look at this Khan, he has a receding hairline, visible wrinkles, and you're expecting someone a lot older sounding to come out of that mouth.
He's got big divorced dad energy, is what Raph is trying to say.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm like, if this was like a flashback episode, then yeah, totally would fit it. Like a young Khan episode, yeah, he can totally do it. But as a 60-something Khan, no, he can't do it. You need to get somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just poor casting, which has been happening fairly often recently.
So I've been talking about this for a while. There are voice acting in on itself. You can have a phenomenal one-note voice like a Vic Mignogna, where it's just like, okay, this is this is the equivalent of the range, but it's a hell of a voice. And then you have people that are versatile that can do multiple different voices,
Baker.
like your Troy Bakers. I'm drawing a blank right now because I'm just exhausted, but you know what the fuck I mean. But outside of Hank Azaria, that's another great one. But outside of that, there also is the idea to bring in actual Hollywood celebs and get them to do the work in voice acting. And I guess it's kind of a means of putting butts in seats, because I went to go see the very first review I ever did for YouTube for videos was Kubo and the Two Strings, which had Matthew McConaughey and Charlize Theron playing two side characters. And I say all of this because Kubo and the Two Strings is a primary Japanese story. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
Is that stop motion animation looking?
Yeah, it's done by Laika, the people who did Coraline, or
yes. Okay, so I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was sitting there and I'm watching the movie and I'm like, okay, well, the side cast, like the extended side cast, has like Kerry Tagawa and George Takei, so we've got Asian representation down to a pat. But my complaint while watching it was, do we really need Matthew McConaughey and Charlize Theron to sell this movie? Because this movie was dope. Kubo and the Two Strings made me cry in I admit I am a soft boy. Made me cry in the theater. And I was sitting there going like, all of these things went so perfectly together, but I still was curious, like, did we really need Matthew McConaughey and Charlize Theron? They're good actors, but I'm sitting there going like, there's gotta be like other voice acting talent that they could have pulled in besides those.
That reminds me of this anime that I watched a couple of years back. It's called Artemis the Third. All right.
Okay.
And it's a like I want like cyberpunkish kind of thing. Guy's a cop. and his partner is like this kind of pseudo hot, straight up android. And there's two versions of this movie. All right, normal version with normal voice with Japanese voice acting. Well, correction, there's three Japanese, and there's two English versions. All right. The first one is just like normal, grab some really good, decent English voice actor. And the other one is the main character is voiced by, his fucking name just left me. He played in 24.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland voiced this guy. And I'm like, now, comparing the two, I was like, I don't know. I kind of like the one that doesn't have Kiefer Sutherland in it. Because I think Kiefer Sutherland's like, what am I doing again? Okay, I'm just doing this for the paycheck. All right, I'm going to give it my all, but I'm not really going to give it all my all, so to speak.
I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me either which way. Big actors have been in voice acting in series for quite a while. Maybe it's become a bit more normal, but like one of my favorite animes of all time is Afro Samurai with Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Awesome. And it's fucking awesome. I don't mind. My whole thing is if it sounds like it fits, if the voice fits the character, then it's okay by me. I don't really care.
I mean, that is fair. So
I don't want it to be oversaturated by Hollywood voice actors, but at the same time, I mean, if it works, it works, and it's probably only going to be the bigger animation projects like your Marios and all that other shit and stuff like that. And we'll still have normal voice actors for normal animations and stuff.
It's like that movie Ponyo, where Ponyo's father is voiced by Liam Neeson. It's just like it's just literally out of left field. It's like it's Liam Neeson, and I'm like, what is going on?
Well,
what's going on?
You're bringing up Miyazaki. So first of all, Miyazaki uses a lot of A-listers. And I say all of this as someone who's currently wearing a Kiki's Delivery t-shirt of Gigi, and also has Kiki's Delivery Service pajama bottoms on right now. So I've double stuffed that. But like, first of all, that is my favorite animated movie. But it is filled to the brim with like, you got Phil Hartman, Janine Garofalo. You've got now granted she wasn't famous at the time, but you had Kirsten Dunst, a very young Kirsten Dunst playing Kiki. And you also had I'm trying to remember I said Phil Hart. Yeah, I've already said Phil Hartman, but like most of the movies that are ported over, so like Ghibli had a partnership with Disney, and like Disney would go and get as many different A-list vocal talents as they possibly could. So, it's kind of I'm in agreement in the sense of like, hey, those movies fucking worked, even if they were filled to the brim with Hollywood cast. So I guess there is kind of like a little give and take kind of situation.
I mean, it's always been there. It's just maybe becoming a bit more mainstream because anime is more mainstream now, and so thereby anything that might happen is more known. And then you got your animations, which are kind of coming back now in bigger and grander ways, like the Mario movies. With fucking, was it Ryan Reynolds voices Mario or whatever?
No, that's Chris
Pikachu.
What is his name? I know him as
Chris
Andy.
Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is doing Mario.
Ah, right. My apologies.
And then
Chris
Charlie
Pratt
Day is doing
Mario.
Luigi.
Ryan Reynolds did Pikachu in Detective Pikachu.
And Jack Black is Bowser.
That one I actually like the most. Jack Black being Bowser makes way too much sense.
I mean, the man's
who
walking
played Donkey Kong
character.
again? Who played? Who played Donkey Kong? Who voiced Donkey Kong? I forgot. Was it
Seth
voices...
Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen. I think Seth Rogen did a good Donkey Kong.
I love Seth Rogen.
So I'll
On the Alien.
So I'll admit something. I've said it before to Wrath, and he giggled like a fucking schoolboy. I can't remember if I said it on stream or not, but I have auditioned for a wide variety of small independent. Yeah, here we go. He knows where I'm going with this. I've auditioned for a bunch of different roles for voice acting throughout my career. And one of the problems that I have is because I share a apartment with 2 roommates, one of which is basically I consider my sister. And I remember auditioning for a BL.
Oh my.
Oh yeah. So
Oh my.
it was the most awkward situation because I'm like, I can't get into the scene, and I basically had to go up to them and I'm like, can you guys just like go see a movie? Here's $40. Go
Leave me.
just
Leave me.
leave me so that I can use this space to make out some moans, groans, and sounds of me getting railed into the pavement.
Having
I was
roommates
like,
is
wow.
always the most interesting thing
was like-
when it comes to voice acting and SFW stuff, because like it can be a quiet Sunday afternoon, you know, someone's watching fucking Seinfeld or some shit, and then all of a sudden they just hear in the background sounds like someone's getting their ass utterly obliterated.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Sonic, so you're using those you're practicing for the next lustful night, I'm assuming?
No comment. But the major thing once again is like I haven't applied to as many voice acting things recently because the podcast, my rock band, and my YouTube stuff is all kind of taking over. But genuinely, I had the whole mindset of, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm just enjoying auditioning and sending out these things. I will take anything, and that means anything and everything. Although once again, if it is not safe for work stuff, I'm gonna have to go to my roommates and say, hey, yeah, go see it.
Everybody needs to go. Everyone needs to leave.
Everyone
right
needs
now.
to leave right this second.
It's
That's
like,
unfortunately been like 90% of my work. 95% of my work has just been NSFW stuff. I've had like a handful of SFW projects I've done. I've been put in a horny jail, but it's pretty much all fucking NSFW work.
How, if you don't mind me asking, because you mentioned you kind of how did the decision to do not safe for work stuff versus safe for work stuff? Was it just like, oh, there's the demand, I might as well throw my hat into this tapped market, so to speak?
You nailed it. Yeah, I saw there was it's like I want to do some voice acting. Man, there's a depressingly large amount of hentai on this Twitter that doesn't have sound. Someone should fix that. And so it's like, hey, you've got quiet fucking silent porn over here. You want to have voice work out to do it? And they're like, sure. I'm like, fucking bet. And so I did it. Had an editor originally. I had an editor who took and helped me edit my work, and then they pump it out, and that's how I got my start. I was like, I just want to voice act stuff, and I kind of want to build. I want to see if I can make something out of this because I've told them I have a lovely female voice.
You absolutely do.
So
thank you.
That's one of the best voices that I've heard in a long while.
Thank you.
Hand check on Wrath.
Shut up, you. So what goes into going into like NSFW acting when, like, say you got your project right here, and now what steps do you take to be like, okay, to I guess quote unquote get in the mood, so to speak?
There's really nothing to get into the mood. I just take a few takes till I get the results I want, and then I'm happy. It takes me a bit of time to see the character, listen to their voice, actual canon voice work if they have it, and then I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't think I can do that, but I think I can learn something similar and go from there. So yeah, and then I just keep on doing takes. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that.
So you try to like emulate if it's a character that has a voice, like say Zone Zenless or something like that, you'll try to listen to them.
I'll try to
emulate it as close as possible to them.
Yeah, the big thing I'm looking for is their inflections on the way they speak. So I try to pay attention to specific ways they talk rather than necessarily the voice itself. Because in the end, of course, I want to take and get close to the character's voice, but quite frankly, most people don't care if it sounds like the actual character. They're too busy, probably on their third or fourth video. They're like, okay. It's like, oh, whoa, this one's really good. And all right, 30 seconds is up. Next one. They don't really care if it's spot on usually. As long as you're somewhere in the ballpark, it's usually okay.
So, for commissions, at least for when people come up and ask you for your services, has there been any request that has been like very difficult to do based on what they've given you, or has there been like something that people have like requested and you're like, nah, I can't do that for whatever reason?
Well, I mean, I have turned down a number of projects before. Either they were, I have like a list of no's. I think every voice actor should have a list of no's and adhere to those. And you shouldn't have 0 bars because, like, there's some, kind of ethical stuff out there. But I don't, really fight people. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Staying in my lane. Yeah, and then there are some characters that I've heard turned down because the projects were just like the voice might be a bit too difficult, and mostly like strange voices like Midna's and stuff. At the very least, if I do them, I get an editor to help me with those because I'm only good at like the bulk editing stuff. I'm not very good at necessarily modulating voices.
You would need some vocal effects just to hit everything right.
Absolutely. And that's just really hard to do.
Have you ever done like multi-minute commissions, like say 5, 10, 1 hour commissions or anything like that?
I think the longest commission I ever did was about 14 minutes long. That was a long one. That one took a good couple of hours of voice and edit, and then usually I have like a package deal that I do with my voice work. Like if they request X amount of minutes for an animation, and then and so like, okay, well, you want that with sound effects? And like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's all the other shit that's not the voice acting, because that stuff takes time to add in. That takes time. I'll do those, and they're usually really nice paycheck ones. They take a long fucking while to get done.
So let's use Sonic here.
Oh no,
as an example. Example here.
Here we go.
Yeah. So let's use Sonic here as an example. Give us your best take. Like, say he's just like some shy boy that you've met in the bar and you're trying to seduce him or something like that.
Really? This is you trying to break me, isn't this?
Yes.
I had a feeling.
Sweetie, Mommy just couldn't help but notice you sitting at the bar all by yourself. Mind if I get a drink?
Sure.
Oh, so cute. You're turning so red. Is that the alcohol or me?
I need to go. I'll let you know I'm just drinking ginger ale. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Lord.
The time of his life.
Lord.
No, so I've had some. Well, I'm okay. What's the best way to say? I am the person in real life who is exceptionally bad at like not knowing how to respond to someone who's flirting with me. Because in real life, I short circuit because I'm the guy who has like millions of friends, but has like no idea how to deal with the whole romance thing. And I'm like, oh God, you're nice.
God, panic.
Panic.
Oh no, I sound like a creep. No.
Do you want to go get coffee sometime?
Looking at like that, the girl failure. It's like, I'm fine. No, I'm a cool person. I'm cool. I swear I'm hip.
It's No, I was trying to remember. What was there's 2 British people that are fighting over Bridget Jones and Bridget Jones's Diary. One's Colin Firth. Oh, the other one's Hugh Grant. And basically what I do is like, I just become charmingly befuddled and I just start laughing and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. It's a pleasure to meet you. But, yeah, let's talk about voice acting and setup. So you're primarily doing some basic editing. You no longer have an editor. Do you use like anything in terms of like dynamics or EQing or what is your editing setup now?
Well, it's not as fair to say that I don't ever have an editor, but I don't have a dependent, like one I'm dependent on anymore.
Mhm.
Occasionally, I'll have like an editor who'll pop up. Like, for example, I got a DM a minute ago from Sabretooth. I can't open it up because very likely it's born.
Yeah.
And they sometimes do editing work for me. I've got a few people I know that do editing work for me.
I know.
But if it's by my, what's up?
No, keep going.
If it's for those 6 months that I did voice acting, it was pretty much almost always me editing. I have plenty of editing experience. I have very particulars to particular ways I edit and stuff. I have like almost everything that I have is entirely self-taught in terms of like, setting the audio just right and the like.
Mhm.
I use Adobe Audition, and I'll take and edit my own voice. I've got like a particular editing technique that I've learned. I've learned a lot over the years.
Mhm.
One of them is called plaps. You probably all know about what plaps are, yeah. It's where
I think you need to explain plaps to Wrath.
okay, well, one pork chop loves another pork chop a lot. They slap each other together, and that's like those are plaps. Which true story? That's how I used to get my my plap noises. I'd go in a closet and slap pork chops together,
Like actual pork chops. Okay,
Mhm.
like
it works.
Raw or cooked?
Raw, of course. You can't do cooked ones; it would never work.
the texture is all wrong.
Yeah, it's the texture is the part you need. But yeah. So but no, I take the plaps and like say I'm editing the video, I'll save the plaps as their own audio file, take it into Adobe Audition, and then add a reverb to it, so it sounds like you're like the plaps themselves are reverbing in the room, which is a technique that I had to teach myself. And I was like, hey, what if I did that? Would that make this much better?
Never tried Jello.
Yeah. Didn't really care for it too much. I made other ways of making my dick sliding noises.
Because I know that Zontan used to.
It's in their old. Yeah, they used to use Jello probably.
Like lots of Jello.
Yeah,
Lots of Jello.
poking holes in Jello. Good fun.
I miss their old work.
Yeah, same.
I'm not going to lie. I am fascinated on how people like how Foley artists create sound, and whether it is like not safe for work stuff or whether it is in film. I legitimately think that making the sound effects in on itself is like one of the most fun and destructive processes that you
Absolutely.
could do as a voice actor. Because like back in the day, they used to do like old school kung fu movies. There would be someone just sitting there with a microphone and they would smash watermelons into the ground.
Yep.
So I don't have the space to do that kind of stuff, but like if I ever do, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have a fucking day.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've done my own Foley work. I get like packets, sound effects from like packets from video games and stuff, and I'll take and use those a lot of the time. Just cuts down on like it was like I need a light bulb flickering noise. Okay, hold on.
Get the
Got
classic
it. We're good.
the Half-Life sound
So long
effects.
as they're royalty free, I guess.
Sure.
Most of them are royalty-free. Even
Oh,
even-
okay. We're playing fast and loose. Okay, that's how. Okay.
I don't take them from YouTube. I take them from video games.
Okay.
So it's
Yar?
okay.
Yarhar?
Yarhar?
The seven C's are we speaking of?
Yo ho.
Actually, true story. Probably like a good 30 to 40% of the animations I've edited myself that have music in them have the Resident Evil safe room music or main menu music.
Changing that beautiful
It
music.
just works. It just works.
So like when I use my YouTube videos, I do use like some of the standards, like for example the home run bat from Super Smash Brothers, like a record scratch noise that has been used in everything. I think there's one where it's like, okay, I need to simulate someone slamming me through a table. Oh look, here's miscellaneous sound effect from Star Trek The Next Generation. This will work nicely. Yep. So like everyone borrows to some degree, just so long as it's not substantial money on the table.
This sound effect will always be my favorite.
Yeah, the Wilhelm scream.
Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you know, there's like an actual like a 15-minute documentary about that.
That's
like,
kind of strange, to be honest.
Well, the fact that no one knew who made that screen. Was like the source of mystery.
Hey.
Because it's.
I was about to say, give me just a hot second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
If anything, I'll put on an advertisement. How long do you think you're going to be? Okay.
I think she's already gone.
I think I'll put on a 1-minute advertisement, just so that way we'd have more time to work with.
Yeah. But when it comes to that sound effect, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, it's a Wilhelm. It's some guy named Wilhelm scream." So that's the sound. It's like, no, it's the name of the character that made the scream.
Yep.
But the character who made the scream didn't scream that way during the take. They got someone else and they dubbed the scream over.
Back.
Okay, welcome back.
Sec.
No, take your time. Because while you were gone, I'm like, I don't know how long Sharptooth is going to be, so I'm going to just roll an ad right now. So you've got about another 35 seconds. Better make it a quickie.
Yeah. No, I'm back. I just had to step away for a hot second.
Okay, so when the ad is back, I'll jump back and start asking you questions, because once again, I'm always good like picking other people's brains, and I want to get into like your technical, like how you started out recording audio, what you used and eventually grew, like where
Like
you know
what mic and all that kind of stuff.
where you're recording now, things like that. So give me a second.
I'm
3,
gonna grab a
2, 1. Yeah, we're back. The ads are now officially over. Sharptooth is back. And while Sharptooth is back, Wrath has ran away. All this work for nothing. But yeah, let's talk about sort of your growth from audio, because the one thing I'm going to casually say is, so I went to school for journalism. I went to school trying to get into film. Got put on the wait list and said, "Oh, well, we got something for you, Matt. Go and do journalism instead." And I was taught how to write. I was taught how to do video editing and how to be a presence on camera. But the one thing that they never fucking taught me was sound. And it wasn't until like years later where I started doing YouTube videos and I'm like, "Oh, wait, why did nobody tell me about this? Why did nobody teach me about mixing and mastering and setting certain decibel levels and making sure that, you know, it has to be this many LUFS for this kind of audio production?" And I'm like, "Oh, why did you not tell me?" So if you don't mind me asking, how did you start doing your original voiceover and audio work? Like where were you, like, do you have a designated space in your house now? Like, how did you get from where you are now? How did you start?
Let's see. Originally, when I was doing it, I think it was in my apartment complex at the time next to my bed. And I went through a lot of research as time. I mean, originally when I started, I just winged it the best I could, and you know, just like fuck it, we ball, we'll see what happens. And I started on Audacity. Originally it was recording in the dreaded MP3 because I didn't know any better. And then
You'd be
fucking-
young and reckless.
I was young and reckless. I was wild at the time.
People still record in MP3.
Yeah, but yeah, some do, but like I've been told that Wave is better. I don't know the technical aspect of it, but yeah, that's what I do now. So I originally started in Audacity, which worked really well for me. Eventually I made friends with somebody through a little collab who got me to use Adobe Premiere and Audition. And it took me a while to figure out the tools, but I eventually got it figured out. And as for where I record now, it's in my office in the back of my house. Hold on just a second.
Yep.
No, baby.
Because I know like certain like people who do like just general recording, they'll like go off to like say their closet or the bathroom or something like that.
No, I mean I have my little rituals when I do my voice work. I like turn the fans off in my room and get things as quiet as I can. And there's a lot of odd shapes in my office. So when the sound does reverb back, it breaks apart. And I try to do as little as possible, but I do a lot of post audio editing. So I'll use like noise cancellations, equalizers. And then when you like, sometimes I might have to adjust
as well, probably.
reverb.
Yeah.
I do my little rituals for it and get it all working properly. And yeah,
for me, I'm always freaking out since I bought this new mic. Since I think it's pretty pretty good.
Mhm.
It's just that I constantly have to turn my freaking AC on and off because
Yep.
it
It
gets
picks up
really.
everything.
I get cold so quick, and I'm like, dang it.
And the mic I started off with originally was bought for me in 2009, I think.
Was it
Or
actually like a
2008.
legit mic?
I think at the time it was considered pretty advanced, but like, what, fucking 12 years later, not really. So I went from that, then I went to well, not a snowball, but what are those really average gaming mics? I can't remember what they're called.
Like a
Logitech?
Yeti. Probably a
Yeti.
Yeti.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It was a blue Yeti. It was a blue Yeti, which was fine. It worked decent for the time. But eventually I was like, okay, I really need to upgrade. And then now I've got was it an AT 2020? Yeah, AT 2020. By I can't remember the name of this one.
So I'm going to
Yeah, it's an AT 2020. It's really nice.
I'm
It's a
going
condenser one.
I'm going to give you sort of kind of it's not really a blast from the past, but the one thing that has always been a constant with me in my YouTube career has been crippling poverty and making
Not truly.
making do with what I can do. Originally, I wanted to be a games journalist, and so I would like log into forum boards, and I would just be like writing, "Here's 1,600 words on why the original Suffering for the PS2 is a fantastic game, and you should definitely grab a hold of it." And then a lot of people would on the forum boards would look at that and say, "Matt, you need to record this shit because this is too fucking long. No one's going to read this, but if they listen to it in an audio format, that'd be good." And I'm like, cool, but I don't have the money. Then I went into college and they're like, you need a laptop. You need a laptop with Final Cut Pro and you need to go from that point on. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I got this laptop. I'm learning how to do video editing, but my YouTube stuff, audio leads the way, and I don't have the ability to use campus gear. I need to go out and get myself a mic, but I'm poor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do I have right now that can function as a temporary microphone? My very first microphone, so if you go back and watch my channel that isn't me playing acoustic music videos, is the USB microphone from Rock Band 2.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
What the?
So
I were going to say Turtle Beach at first.
No.
I rock Turtle Beach.
We are
Turtle
going way DIY, and I would plug that in, and I did use Audacity for a little bit when I was in college, but Audacity has changed significantly. It is a much better software to use now, but at the time during college, I'm like, this is temperamental at best. So what I would use is I would record all the audio in GarageBand, and I would manually edit it scene by scene, brick by brick. I would just say, okay, cool, I'm going to set this point here, and I'm going to raise the volume here, and then this part's too loud, and I would manually do it. I would have no dynamics, no EQ, no compression, no knowledge whatsoever, other than my own ears, and like every video.
Sounds scuffed as fuck.
It took forever. Like, I spent hours and hours.
That sounds so scuffed, it's beautiful, honestly. I respect it.
I would export that as a WAV file and then bring it into iMovie or Final Cut Pro and then, like, go, okay, let's go piece by piece by piece by piece. And, a lot of those videos, I cannot go back and watch them because I didn't even have video footage. So I would use, like, image stills over the audio. And so it was really the Wild West, but I had so much fun during those years. And like now all my audio is done in DaVinci Resolve, which is kind of like it's kind of like the Adobe Suite all in one, minus Photoshop and Illustrator. But it's basically got like After Effects, video editing, and there's an audio section part that's in there, and I'm like, all right, cool, just recognize my microphone, plug this in. Cool. Here is my audio wave format. Just let me set some levels and, add a little bit of dynamics, add a little bit of EQ, and then decide whether or not I want to do certain sound effects or certain modulation on my end. But I just wanted to show you the fucking Wild West that I'm
That's
doing.
crazy.
So you started off doing that stuff in your apartment. Do you have a designated space now for your audio recording room?
My gaming room is my audio room.
Oh, your office.
I'm hoping it's I'm hoping at some point in the future when I get a bigger house, I can have just a designated voice acting area. That would be really cool, but that's probably really fucking far down the line. Yeah, or maybe an office to go to or something would be pretty cool. But no, I do my voice acting in my office where I do my gaming and my streaming. Actually, I got my computers in here, and I have to work with sound adjustments to take and fix that because they're kind of loud. Voice acting wise, so yeah.
So one of the things that I always recommend, if you have a big space, you have to watch out for reverb. And so whenever
mine's are small.
Yeah, but whenever you have a situation like that, one of the things that I always say to people that are trying to make use of the situation, I'm like, okay, well, if you're doing it in a room and you're worried about, stuff bouncing off, an easy way to do it is just go out there and get stuff that makes your room feel lived in. Get yourself a shelf cabinet, put some clothes on that, or skateboard racks or something to hold your shoes. That eventually will stop the your voice bouncing off, and it actually becomes a lived-in space. You can also go. I know Amazon has soundproof foam that you can get, although the quality.
Not sponsored.
Huh?
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, yeah. Sorry. But I know that you can get foam off of that, although I was going to say before Wrath cut me off, the quality can be dubious. So
yeah, I've had it before. Yeah, it's not amazing. It was very frustrating to work with.
It does in a pinch, but yeah, there's probably a better company or
I just do the lived-in thing.
Yeah.
I used to go into my closet all the time to do it, but I quickly learned after a while it's just not necessary. As long as it might improve marginally, but not enough.
Surprisingly, there's a lot of people that use their closet as sort of a discount recording
sound booth.
Yeah, discount sound booth back in the day. So it's kind of like a rite of passage. I've never had to use it, but also my situation has been different. I got lucky with the places that I had to record in. So here's a question that I have to ask.
Okay.
What's is the weirdest voice acting thing that you have done without?
Oh damn! You're pulling out one of my questions. Okay.
I'm legitimately curious. Although I will have to. Well, I mean, fuck it. I don't think it. Just make sure it doesn't violate TOS.
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay.
No, I already know it. I already know the answer. So I usually don't. I don't usually disclose the works that I do and stuff like that for privacy deals. But if it's not private or something that didn't go through, I don't mind. Especially since I didn't actually wind up doing the job for the person. So yeah, the weirdest one I've ever been requested to do was to sensually read the Crash Bandicoot wiki.
I showed the wiki.
Yes.
Oh, they're probably taking the piss. That's why.
Well, okay. There's that one, and then the other one that's probably right there. Have y'all ever seen? I think it was the early 2000s. There was, and I don't think so. By the way, this person requested me pretty frequently, but maybe, who knows? This other one that requested me to do the deal also didn't wind up going through. They would never bring the money. And you guys familiar with that one movie from the early 2000s where I think they're in like Arizona or New Mexico, and like an alien species lands there, and like there's like some kind of like area and like in a cave.
It's either
like,
it's either Mars Attacks, because that takes
No.
place in the desert.
Is it animated or real life?
It's live action.
Okay.
They wind up in the end they wind up killing the bad monster with Head and Shoulders.
Oh, I know that
Evolution.
one. Yeah,
Evolution.
Thank
That's
you.
what it's called.
Yeah.
Because I remember because I watched that and the cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Someone wanted to write a script and have me basically reenact, but in a sexual manner, the scene where they're at the very end defeating the final monster, where they're getting pulled up and down inside of it, trying to blast it with Head and Shoulders.
Oh my god.
That was real.
Oh my god, I feel so old. It had David Duchovny in it.
Yep.
I don't
Fox
remember. You're guessing.
Fox Mulder.
I only remember that recently because of there's a YouTuber I watch named Roanoke Games, and I love his videos.
Oh, I love that guy too.
He did a
He does
video
gaming.
on evolution.
He does
That memory came back.
he does like biological like breakdowns of like creatures and stuff like that. And he also does like stuff for like he does like actual like paranormal storytelling and stuff like that as well. I think he has like 2 channels.
Thank you, Living for the Follow. But yeah, no, that was probably the oddest one I've ever had or was ever requested to do. It never went through though. So
I can only imagine if it went like say for the Crash Bandicoot wiki.
That'd have been hella bank though. I'll tell you that. That's
it'd be like multi-week, multi-month project. No one talked to me. No one even so much as suggest anything towards me. But just imagine, because they do have articles that have the narration part.
Yeah.
So if that was a thing, I could imagine like going on to the wiki, pressing the hey read to me, and it's just your voice coming out, be like, oh yes. Yes, tell me about Crash Bandicoot's personality.
Yeah.
Give me that trivia facts.
But yeah, those are definitely the weirder ones I've gotten requested for.
Like I'm the type of person who, if I have people that do like not safe for work stuff or whatever, I would send them stuff just to fuck with them. Just like, here's a grocery list. Go and have fun.
That'd be pretty funny. I haven't got one of those yet.
Like, here's my grocery list. I want you to talk to me so naughty-like. Dommy mommy energy at a odd angle of your mic, so it feels like you're actually talking down to me.
So outside of Wrath's lewd version of the Make a Wish Foundation, I am curious about, because you do the not safe for work voice acting. You also do streaming. My question is in regards to building up your community and understanding that, like, how do you feel in regards to, because I've watched some of your streams, and you care very deeply about the people that tune in. Like, I'm sitting there going, okay,
absolutely.
you're not just playing it up, but I am curious because technically you are a commodity, and these are the people that will commission you, that you do rely on for money, assuming that you do this instead of working a job as well. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, ideally this will be my main job in the future, but we'll see where that road goes. There's
Fingers
no saying
crossed.
that'll work. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. But yeah, no, continue.
So I was just, how do you feel with building your fan base and the fact that you're kind of relying on these people, so you're trying to be organic, but also they're the people that will commission you and stuff like that? Is there
Keep the lights on, essentially?
Yeah, is there ever a conflict that you have sort of between entertainer and I'm trying to find the words for it, but like, is there ever a conflict between
entertainer and caring person?
Yeah.
Not really. So, okay. First of all, when it comes to streaming and gaming and stuff like that, I believe, generally speaking, that the best kind of content creator is someone who is the best part of themselves. So, like like I care about people. I think looking after people is good and stuff like that. I know all my regulars are in here, and I even remember a lot of people who just don't show up for like 3 months and then pop back in. They're like, "Hey, Sharp, da da da." Like, "Oh shit, it's you." That's why I hate it when people change their fucking names. It makes it very confusing. But yeah, there is the part where I want to take and make this entertaining, and take and be like progressive and get things done and stuff like that, and have a good stream, and then ideally make money and stuff. But it usually doesn't conflict with each other in any kind of way. Everybody on my stream knows that whenever I flirt or I'm silly and stuff like that, they all know it's just for fun. And no one's really dead serious and stuff like that on any of that kind of stuff. It's all just for fun and a good time and a good laugh. Where was I going with that thought? There's all that kind of stuff. And not only that, if anybody ever, like, if someone has a bad day and they come in and say, "Hey, Sharp, I'm not feeling too hot, I've got like this or that are going on," I'll, sure, they obviously care, but I'll try to, not make it the main focus.
Yeah.
If it's really serious, I don't mind them telling me. But, I try to, offer words of reassurance because I really do care. I try to balance in between the two, and try to, keep things lighthearted, because at the end of the day, them being here is just going to help them hopefully feel better. And so if we focus on the things that are, the positive things that are going on and stuff like that, then it'll, hopefully make them feel a bit better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When I'm on my YouTube channel, the version of me that I'm giving to people is a very exaggerated version of myself, because I'm allowed to do all of that in pre-production, right? Like, his voice leads the way, and as a result of that, I'm allowed to be this highly energetic, really fast, quick with the joke, well written individual. But when I bring that to a live event setting, such as streaming, or if I'm hosting a panel at a convention, I'm like, cool, I can maintain this energy for maybe about 30 minutes tops, and then there's an audible notice. Like, it's just like, "Oh, your voice dropped," and I'm like, yeah, because I can't keep that energy going. I am not that high-strung a person. I'm more relaxed, subdued, like I am now. And it's for me, I'm sitting there going like, I think it's the Mr. Beastification probably, but it's like, to some degree, I almost feel like a little bit guilty that I'm just sitting there going like, I'm sorry, I'm not high energy, I'm just relaxed, and if I don't have anyone to work off of, then you're just going to get relaxed Matt doing his relaxed shit.
Makes sense.
But I have had people that have come into my live stream and they're like, "Hey Matt, would you mind if I just vent?" And I'm like, fuck it, no one else wants to see me play Yakuza 5. Let's have at it.
Right.
And it kind of turns into like, you know what? Fuck it. My streams are a safe space. And I just want to entertain and educate, and just to genuinely help other people who are dealing with shit. Like, I want to make content that helps people get through tough times. The same way videos back, like, when I first discovered YouTube, helped me deal with the chaos of, like, college life, or helped me get through a bad point in my life. I could put on a video by, say, Nostalgia Critic, or
classic,
or Yahtzee from The Escapist, and that would always make me smile.
God, I love that man.
So I'm trying to basically do that while sitting there going like, I think I might be done. And then Wrath comes along and says, "Hey, you're not done. We're starting a podcast." And I'm like, fuck.
Wake up, samurai.
All right.
I've had similar experience. I won't say their names or anything like that because I don't want to draw attention to them, but I have had several people in my streams who go and tell me, it's like, "Hey, Sharp, just want to let you know, when I first got here, I was having a really rough time. Things have been kind of beating me down and stuff like that. And I just want to let you know that being here really helped make my day a lot better. And it's something to look forward to." And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Don't make me cry. Fuck you.
You are the light. You are the light at this end of this dark day.
It makes me really happy to know that I can make other people's days about better just by just being silly and playing games and making sexy voices and stuff. So it just makes me really happy. I was also told I am when I first started streaming that I was people's comfort streamer, which at the time I
That
didn't
can have
like,
multiple
but-
meanings.
Well, yeah. Well, I took it as being boring and just quiet, and I was like, I don't want to be boring or quiet. I want to be high strung and energetic, get people pumped. And
Yeah.
let's go. And but I since took it as a good thing. It's because people just really like being here because I can help make them feel a bit better, which is good.
Yeah, for like for me, what I look for when it comes to like following somebody is like I want to say I have 3 different categories. One is the person that, you know, I can vibe with what they're doing, like right now, like, hey, they're playing the new Resident Evil game, so I'm gonna see their reaction and, you know, get some enjoyment from that. And others is like, you know what? I've had a very rough day. I need quote unquote TNA. But more on the, of course, it's going to be more on the vocal side. I mean, they provide some visual that's you know, plus, but you know, it's like, hey, I just need someone to be sexy and, you know, funny and playing some like Call of Duty or whatever. And then there's others where, you know, they're soft spoken, and I'm like, you know, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
And Sharp is in category 2.
No.
Call of Duty would be a very different game with hentai voice actors. I'm just casually saying.
Oh yeah, it will. It will.
Oh, my fucking thigh.
So I wanna name off some questions. Like, what kind of games do you prefer to play?
Horror games. I want to
Horror
be
games.
scared. I want to feel something.
So
If a game can't make me feel something, I don't want to play it.
So I've been noticing you've been playing a lot of Helldivers 2.
Yes, that
So-
game. I feel panic.
Pure panic.
It's glorious
Me and
chaos.
It is.
Glorious.
It's wonderful.
Glorious purpose. Have you ever played this game called DayZ?
Yes. I found it very boring, admittingly.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. It's a whole lot of,
Unfollow.
it's just a whole lot of nothing happening for a long time, and then something really cool happens, and it's over in like 5 minutes usually, and then it's just that for another hour.
Well, I guess you could see that. It's more of that like 55 minutes of pure nothing. You're just, you know,
Yeah.
avoiding zombies, finding food,
I need my
And,
regular
yeah.
dopamine hits.
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, holy shit!
I
Person!
I've got an addiction to feed. I need my regular dopamine hits.
I was gonna lean off like, hey, they're about to release a new map, and I was about to ask if you ever played it, and if you have, are you gonna get onto that the new map that they're gonna be releasing soon?
I wouldn't count on it. Probably the only game I play that has a long chill periods is Zomboid. That's because when it gets tense, it gets really fucking tense.
They didn't
And
release that
you
one.
can still make it out alive. The longest I actually survived in that game was 6 months, and I died trying to save a friend that still fucking died.
You're like, you
But-
mother.
But you died in the most thematic way because you died trying to
I
save
died to a
someone.
horde. I was taking fucking heads off, and one snuck up and got me when I wasn't looking. Because I had like 20 of them in front of me, and I was trying to get him to slow down because he was hobbling away. Otherwise, I would just ran with him. But I died trying to hold him back.
Hold him back. I'll distract
You
him.
know? And this is like this is like 60 hours that dedicated to this character. I
know.
wasn't happy about his death.
I know when I was playing Daisy, I used to roll with a buddy of mine, but I don't play with him anymore. I'm not even getting details about why. But we were in like one of those counter sniping situations
Yeah.
where shot one dude, his buddy's still out there, and it's about 3.5 hours later. And it's like 4 a.m. for me. It's like the next day for him. And I look at him, I was like, dude, I think we're good. I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back. Oh my god.
So I've entered my casual gaming renaissance, so to speak, in a means of because for the longest time, before I started my music career, I once again was trying to be a games journalist. So I would basically sit there and go, I want to play games that I would be interested in that would turn into a video review that I can put on my YouTube channel. And the problem with that is that it was like,
oh, my food's almost here.
Huh?
1 second. My food's being delivered. Hang on one
cool.
second.
Go and do your thing. I'll continue talking with Sharptooth. Okay.
Don't you steal them away.
I'm not stealing them away. It's just my natural charisma, baby. Plus, I don't go after taking people.
Aw.
I believe in loyalty.
No NTR, good.
Unless it's Polly, then I'm willing to be a third. But that's a later day.
I'll destroy you.
But no, I would play video games primarily because I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube video review on this game. So
Yeah.
I would sit down and I would not be able to shut off that game reviewing part of my mind. I wouldn't just be able to sit and enjoy the game for what it is. And now I'm starting to like really get into just casual gaming because I'm sitting there going like, okay, well, I've already done 2 seasons of my show. I can relax now. I don't need to review everything that is in front of my plate. And Wrath and I became friends because we were on a not safe for work server. And he's just like, hey, you're kind of like a laid back shit poster. And I'm like, thank you. Do you want to play a game together? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Sure, why not? I primarily play single player games, but let's see how multiplayer does. And we're playing Abiotic Factor, which have you ever played Abiotic Factor at all?
It sounds familiar. I think I heard it did well. I just haven't played it.
It's kind of like Half-Life, except what if Half-Life had survival elements? So you're in like a underground research facility in Australia, and your science group is experimenting with portal technology and pulls creatures from other dimensions who now run havoc and kill everybody, and you're just trying to like survive and make it out of there.
That sounds like the plot to Half-Life 1, actually.
Pretty much. It's almost like it wears its Half-Life like references on its sleeve. Complete with graphics and everything. But like we're playing through this game, and Wrath is taking the role as the point man, right? Like he's going and killing everything, whereas meanwhile I'm over back at base and I'm like making food for everybody, and I've got myself a lovely little flower garden, and I've gotten into like farming and all of this stuff, and Wrath is just looking at me going, are you ever going to try to enjoy the game? I am enjoying the game. Here, I made you some soup.
Lord, yeah, that sounds like some friends of mine when I played Zomboid. We'd have those who'd go out and gather supplies, fight zombies, look for things and stuff like that. And we had the ones that just like hanging out at base, cooking, flowers, gardening, doing whatever needed to be taken care of. Hi, Rose, thank you for the raid. And you know, stuff like that. And like we had one dude who just like do his mechanic stuff. Here, just bring me cars when you come back. I'm like, okay, we'll bring you back cars. He'd work on them, get them up and running, shit like that. You know, and then like the other of us, we're just like, meanwhile on the other side of the Discord, you just hear people screaming, "One on your left, go, go, go! We gotta keep moving. We're not sticking here. Let's fucking move!" And it's leave the car, leave everything else. Let's get the fuck out.
Run, you fucking fool!
Yeah, it was funny. It was good times.
Have you played Resident Evil Requiem yet?
Oh my god, yes. I loved that. That was
I
so
just
cool.
started it like not too long ago. So they
It's
just
so cool.
they just introduced Leon, and Grace got choked out by, I think his name is Victor. And I'm like,
yeah, you're really early.
I'm really well, because I only had like a couple hours. My job unfortunately takes my soul away, but being able to create being able to create content and being able to stream with everyone else gives me purpose and makes me not want to do what the intrusive thoughts in my head say. So I am at least enjoying that. But the mod community for Resident Evil Requiem, holy shit.
God, they're thirsty motherfuckers, I swear to God.
Absolutely, and damn right they are.
Like after like 48 hours after the game came out, they have a topless Leon skin already set to go, and I'm like, how do you do that so quick?
Skills and
that-
dedication.
I-
Dedication to the FAP is real.
Like,
I wouldn't
like,
be surprised
holy
if they got an early copy and went to town.
well, I'm assuming someone did, because this is the thing I hate the most. Now that we're on this little subject here.
Mhm.
Apparently, about maybe 2 or 3 days, there was already videos for like full playthroughs of Resident Evil 9. And I'm like, who are you? And how did you get this copy? And why are you posting this shit online right now?
Yeah. Well, it's
And, like,
happens.
And Sharp will know, but I won't say it. But I don't mind if you post videos
Mm-hmm.
if you got an early copy. I do not mind at all. What I do mind is if you're going to post a video, do not have your thumbnail showing off a major
Spoiler.
story reveal,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely do not make the title the story reveal as well.
So
Yeah.
I say this as a games journalist.
Hi,
So
Jack.
what normally happens, you know, if I was reviewing a copy or whatever, they would give me an advanced copy of a game, and they would send out a list of terms and conditions in regards to what I can say about it. And they say it normally is you can't release the video until this certain date, because that's when everyone else is going to get their hands on it, so don't do it before everyone else can grab it. B, try to avoid these plot points, or try to avoid, you know, anything that might spoil the game unless you absolutely have to. I remember with Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm only saying they because I've forgotten the name of the game studio right now. CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red was basically sitting there going, okay, you can't show any footage from the PlayStation 4 and
The Xbox One version.
the Xbox One version of me. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking alarming and heinous. But you
Big
have
red flag.
you have rules that you have to follow. So if anyone is doing that before the game is launched, then it means that they probably pirated a copy, or they have someone on the inside who gave it to them, and they're like, all right, cool, well, rules and obligations go out the window. And at that point, the company could lawyer up and take them to court.
Yeah.
Because I know that some games will say, hey, if you get like the super ultra deluxe, you can play like 2 or 3 days early. I mean, I think Doom the Dark Ages did that. Most of the Call of Duty games do that, or have done that.
Yeah.
But I do not remember if Resident Evil 9 did that.
Probably not.
Because I don't remember that anywhere in the marketing, because I was watching that game like a freaking hawk.
Probably not, to be honest. There's
So,
probably some illegal means.
Because I looked at the channel, and it's like a pretty decent channel. It's not like some random jerk just, you know, got a copy and made an account real quick. It's like, no, this dude has like some decent things on his channel. So I'm like, why would you do that?
Honestly, who's to say?
But apparently everyone else in the comment was like basically on my side, saying as well, saying like, why would you do that? Why would you post this? Why would you do this on the first thing? Because that's like popping up on my freaking recommends. I'm like, great, thank you. I would love to know that XYZ did XYZ at this point in time in the game. Thank you so much.
I mean, you know, not everyone has the grace and mental fortitude to realize, hey, this kind of makes me look like a dick. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
People don't care. People are just fine looking like dicks.
So, are you planning on playing that Pragmata game?
The Pragmata? Yeah, I want to play it. I just don't get the money for it right now.
Okay. What do you think about the controversy?
I think it's fucking stupid.
The so-called controversy about this game.
It's not even necessary. It's not even controversy.
It's controversy to begin with.
Controversy implies there's something there to argue about. It's nothing there to argue about. It's just people being assholes. Just being rude.
So self-reported yourself, bud. Why would you even bring that up?
And maybe not even that. Some people just genuinely believe that kind of shit. That like a grown man can't feel like a connection to a character if they're a little girl, because then if they do, they're a creep. That's stupid. That's people just start. That's one of two things. That's either A, someone who is genuinely just stupid and has like some kind of really shitty opinion of other people, or either it's stupidity or some kind of self-righteousness, because I've heard all sorts of comments
I think
from
it
those types of
sometimes
people.
can be like a lack of experience when it comes to gaming, because you can
Yes.
have great emotional attachments. And what I mean to say is, like, do you guys remember season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead?
Yes,
Yeah.
oh my god. Hell, all the way up to fucking 3 was still fucking kicking my heart in the balls.
Lee and Clementine's dynamic, the entirety of the way, I'm like, no,
Oh my
but
god.
if I go, who's going to protect her?
Like, oh my god, yeah, that
Yeah.
fuck, oh my god, or
It went
fucking
from-
a plague tale.
Yep.
A plague
It went
tale
from,
hurt
like,
me.
Like it went from like babysitter kind of relationship to like full blown I'm your father now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
Oh my
I was
god.
the same way. When I was playing that, granted, I was like, when did that game come out? Like what, 2009?
Maybe
2008?
something like that.
Which game?
Something like that. Walking Dead by
Season
Telltale
1.
Games.
Oh, season 1. So no,
like 2007 or 8.
No. It had to come out later because I was living with my father. This was after I graduated college, so it had to have
Really?
been 2010, 2011.
Okay, I'll
Alright,
take
so
your
I
word
was-
on it.
Because by
Alright, so I was
2012, I
20.
was living in a basement flat in Oakville. So it
Right,
had
yeah,
to.
so I was 20 when that game came out.
Yeah.
For me at 20 years old, saying, nah, you ain't touching Clem. No, you ain't taking her away from me.
Mhm.
Speaks a lot of volume.
Mhm.
It's hard. It was heartbreaking,
I
but
was like,
no,
I'm being father now.
I think that some people are either just a combination of stupid or just self-righteous in their beliefs and like how
Because-
dead certain they are that like guys are a certain way, or it's from someone who wants to just stir up controversy for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
And just like wants to rage bait people into like interacting with them.
There's
And
a lot of
Like,
bad actors.
Because
There's a lot of bad
it sounded
Yeah.
like, because the amount of stupidity that was coming out of their mouths reminded me of that collective shout scenario that happened
Yeah.
with the payment providers and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want to ask is like, with payment providers being the spineless little shits that they are, basically having grown women just scream at them, and that's enough for them to change policy. What would you say to people like that?
The car providers or the people?
Both.
I mean, there's not really to say about it. It's the fact of the world we live in. There's people like that. They're gonna want to take in control the media and what should and shouldn't be on gaming and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And there's payment providers who, in bad faith, will take and do it and probably act as like some kind of it's to save their image, but are just more than happy to have an ability to also use their influence to take and change things the way they want it to be.
Mhm.
Because I know
They're-
recently...
Because the more power for any company is just more of an excuse. They'll be like, oh, this is an opportunity. Here, let's do this. And
Because I know recently
Mhm.
they've all received a letter from the United States government.
Yep.
Telling them like, hey, so we're not telling you now, but this is basically saying that we can tell you at any point in time that the stuff that you did earlier last year, you're going to have to maybe reverse course on that because we call that bullshit in America. And people
And they're still trying a little bit too.
They're still trying. And so you're not going to be listening to freaking crazy people from Australia over us. All right.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing that. So do you think the government has to go a little bit further for them to say, hey,
think that's
knock that
probably-
shit off?
I think that's I usually not really any kind of thing positive to say about the government, but yeah, no, that one actually thumbs up. Yeah, I'm more than happy for fucking credit card providers to get their shit put in check and not be able to just change things because they want to change it a certain way. I believe in a very minor amount of control when it comes to things like creativity and stuff like that. unfortunately has to be some amounts of rules, the obvious ones. But like, aside from that, you should be allowed to say or do or pretty much act in pretty much any reasonable way to make whatever it is you want.
Because this would affect you as an adult content provider.
Oh yeah.
If it were to go any further,
it already is. It already is.
It already is.
I probably one of my best ever. It feels weird to say this, but ratioed comments I ever had on Twitter was me ripping into fucking Patreon. I think it was. They posted something on Patreon, and I got liked the fuck out of. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Patreon. It was either Patreon or another one of those sites where
Blue Twitch.
No, it wasn't Blue Twitch. It was another one. Anyway, maybe it was Gumroad. Not Gumroad.
It may have been Gummy or Ichigo.
Maybe it's Itchy. I don't remember. Anyway, I went off on them, basically telling them how they were more than happy to take our money and the and stuff like that and have us there when it benefited them, but now they just turn their back on one of the largest parts of their whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's been affecting NSFW voice actors for a while. I'm not panicking or anything like that, because assuming that things get better in the near future with certain things going on in the world, which I hope they do, I'll have nothing to be scared of. And
because I know
there's nothing I can do to affect it, so aside from just bitch and moan about it, which I'm more than happy to do.
You just got to be reactive. Like when something gets taken down, you have to sit there and go, okay, what else can I possibly do? And I say all of this because I used to be on Tumblr, and the reason why I used to be on Tumblr was there was a lot of not safe for work artists that were there, and I'm like, I want to support these guys, and I want to be able to access their art, but also like to this is the platform to do it. And then Tumblr went fucking down, and then
went nuclear,
and then I'm like, oh, if this is happening to Tumblr, and Tumblr was primarily for the not safe for work community, right? So I'm like, you just shot your main demographic in the foot.
Yeah.
If y'all are doing this, God help. And then let's just say, I think we call it Blue Twitch. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Only?
Blue Twitch.
Blue Twitch.
Yeah.
Then Blue Twitch was like, bring them all over here. And then then Blue Twitch did the same thing.
Yeah, Blue Twitch started advertising for like normal YouTubers, and I'm just sitting there looking at it going like, the fuck are you doing? We already have Patreon. We don't need to further split it. The people that do need it are the not safe for work community people.
Like Twitch was like raining in on the hammer on VTubers and how they should dress and all that.
Yeah.
And then Kick came in and was like, "Hey, come on over here." And then as soon as everybody got over there, Kick started doing the sort of the same thing. It was like, guys, can we not steal from what I wouldn't say steal. Promote yourself one way, and then once you got the maximum amount of people in, you immediately switch your tune, because that's complete bullshit. All right, that's bullshit.
That's the way it happens a lot of times for NSFW work and stuff like that. They'll pull you on in, and then they want to take and get all that ad money, and in order to get ad money, brands can't be associated with all the NSFW stuff. And they can't be just content with what they have. They have to be like, no, we need more. And then they're like, okay, well, all the people who made our community what it is, get the fuck out. And then it crashes and burns, and nobody ever sees
what happened? What did we do?
This is the problem.
$40 billion on this.
This is the problem. Yeah, this is the problem with living under a capitalist society. It's not being content with, oh, you know what? We're plateauing, but we have slow and steady growth. It's all about getting as much money as possible and continually getting that money, even if it means hurting other people. There's a term coined by Cory Doctorow called enshittification, which is
I've heard that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard that phrase.
And I think this is almost going to be the third time in 3 podcasts where I bring up enshittification. But it is the very loose idea where the people that create the platform make a great product, and then make it shitty for users but great for advertisers, and then make it shitty for everyone because that way they get more and more and more money. And then you are left with this husk of a platform that nobody wants to fucking use unless everyone else is using it and they're like, okay, well, we got no other choice. Like, YouTube is like that right now because there is no other platform that is really a direct competitor for YouTube. Like, the moment YouTube has a competitor, I will jump. I will make content. Well, it's like I will make content.
I don't blame you.
I will make content for both. But like that's primarily how I'm going.
Like I know today, I got hit with a 60-second unskippable ad.
Yep.
And I was like, "Are you serious? Are you?" Because they're trying to push so hard for that subscription for YouTube. They are pushing so hard. I get an advertisement for that thing every single time I go on my phone. Get a 3-month trial period. Get a whole 1 month. Get 5 weeks. And I'm like, shut up, leave me alone.
I'm going to casually. I'm going to casually weigh in because there was a brief couple months a while ago where they were giving. So YouTube ads with me have always been scams. I don't know what it is about the algorithm, but they're like, oh yeah, Matt absolutely wants scams. And I'm like, I don't want scams. Stop sending me this shit. But one of the things that they would do is they would send an AI story written by an AI voice that sounds like Jordan Peele about like, oh yes, it takes place in this fantasy world where this guy is getting his girlfriend cucked by him, but secretly he had a virus program and I'm sitting there going like, what the fuck is this borderline not safe for work NTR AI slop story that you're trying to sell me?
I had straight up porn. I've been getting these little ads on the shorts.
Fucking lucky.
Well, not. I would use porn a little bit loosely, but not really. But it's like two characters like off to the side. The classic, like, the one's a little bit smaller, so their legs are dangling, but you know what they're doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And
yeah, I get those.
I got those like so many times. I'm like, what are we advertising again?
AI, probably.
It's like some sort of like another like app that you can go there to watch other shorts.
Yeah.
As well.
I'm like, redneck Twitter. I don't remember the name of it, but
I'm like, what is this? And then there's the ones where it's obviously AI, and the woman is like in a very scantily clad, in a very sexy pose, and it's a POV shot, and you're looking down, and her butt's basically grinding up against you, and I'm like, really? This is what we're doing now? Really?
Everything has
hot milfs in my area.
Everything has to be about money. Everything is now gambling, and everything is all about getting rich quick schemes. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes. This isn't going to damage kids. Because
what's...
Go ahead.
I was about to say, what's probably the number one site that, in my opinion's held out the best?
What?
Newgrounds.
Yeah! Surprisingly,
Newgrounds is a G. They don't get enough love. Newgrounds is fucking awesome.
Well,
Newgrounds has been creeping a reel since fucking early 2000s. I have mad respect for Newgrounds.
Newgrounds has been around since I was in grade school. I remember like playing dating sims back in the day, like Gangro Girl, or Sim Girl, or like a lot of the. Oh my god, I am dating myself.
For me, it was the Last Stand games. It was all the Last Stand games.
And that's also, I'm pretty sure where I met Zone as well. That's where I was familiar with their art, because I think they had some Flash games.
Same. Yeah, they did.
All the Zone ones.
I'm not judging, but can we get a hand check on Sharptooth right now? Just sounds
anyway. No, go ahead.
No, I was trying to make the sound involving putting your hand to your face or whatever, so it sounds like you're wanking, but I'm like, I can't do it because I'm laughing right now.
Speaking of like artists, like, is there any like particular NSFW artists that you have followed on Twitter or on any other like social media that you really enjoy their work from?
I have a list for you.
Oh,
Give us that list.
Maybe
our friends on there.
I'm greatly honored to be followed by some of them, in my opinion, some of the most prolific and badass animators and voice actors and actresses on Twitter. First of all, let me start off with my weird flex. I am followed by the official. This is a weird, humble flex. I am followed by the official Jimmy John's Twitter account on a completely unrelated note.
Not sponsored.
I shit you not. They said if you take and comment this post, we'll follow you. I'm like,
okay,
bet. Dropped a follow, and then I saw Jimmy John's follows. I'm like, let's fucking go! I'm so happy right now. I was in my van at my job. I was just like laughing my ass off. My buddy's like, "What are you laughing about?" Jimmy John just followed me, dude. Jimmy John's, when can we get that collab going? I'll take an advertise your cold cut sandwich.
Extra long.
Still no response.
Sandwich.
Wait for Jersey Mike's. How do you top your sub?
I love it. But as far as animators, I had somebody named Cherry I followed, who I love their animations. I'm actually followed by Zonton and Cherry.
Nice.
I was so happy with that. I squealed like a schoolgirl. I am followed by Deeves and T-Dron and a bunch of the big ones. Moxie Floxy follows me, which is like my favorite musician. I have a lot of animators that I really look up to over the years. Grim takes and follows me. I follow them back. Yeah. As far as voice actors are concerned, I've got and this is not trying to flex, I'm just honored by the fact I'm followed by them. I've got Cottontail, Silverveil, Cumbomb, Cherry.
Silver, Cotton. Oh my god.
I've actually got to talk with Cotton a little bit. They're pretty cool. They actually gave me some tips on how to voice act. Takahata, fucking, what are some other ones? I've got Whale, I can't remember, Whale Zero. I've got Cinder. I'd pull up the list, but I'd get in trouble.
No, that's fine. You don't have to pull up the list.
Yeah, no, I've followed, and have gotten to interact with some of my favorite people that I've ever looked up to or thought were cool, and it is something that has forever put a smile on my face and made me happy.
So I used to, like, I still have like a Twitter account, but really it's a fucking ghost town right now, and I realize that all my energy is more towards like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Those are my main three that I stick to, and everything else gets kind of lost by the wayside. But there was a brief period before I started doing game reviews where I was starting, I would record acoustic covers, and I would put that on YouTube to get over stage fright, because I wanted to be a musician while also doing gaming. And I would do a cover of a song, and then like an artist from one of the obscure bands that I would cover would just start following me. And I'm like, oh my god, you watched the video.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's like I watched it with my 8-year-old daughter. So it's actually a blast from the past. And I'm like, oh my god, this is peak. And then, surprisingly enough, I did a fucking game review of SSX, like not the original SSX, but I'm like the one that came out for the PlayStation 3, and I'm like, oh yeah, and it features all these artists, and I mentioned casually like Blackalicious, and I start reviewing his song as part of the review, and then next thing you know, Blackalicious is following me, and I'm like, how the fuck, out of everything, why is Blackalicious following me?
That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that for you.
Now I'm gonna have to start a hip hop career.
Me and Sonic probably have the funniest, I guess, way of meeting each other. We both met each other.
I mentioned this actually. I mentioned this a little while you were gone.
Oh, you did.
BD1 server.
And
I believe you said it was an NSFW server, right?
It is. The artist is BD1.
Nice.
And we have interviewed him as well. He's primarily a femboy artist. So
right on. I'm unfamiliar with that one.
Yep.
But I'm sure I like good art.
Slim,
It doesn't really
feminized
usually matter
boys
what it
with
is.
wangs the size of Philadelphia cheesesteaks.
No, they're all small.
That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
We need to go deeper.
We need to get bigger.
I think
You know
Sharptooth
what?
looked
This is
good
it. The
in
collaboration
BD style.
between BD1 and Arby's. We need to make it happen. He's got the
We have
meats.
some meat.
The beef. Slap on the table.
This
Well, I know
is
since
this
Sharp
is
has
so
a femboy
stupid. I
model-
love it.
Since Sharp has a femboy model, I think her model, her femboy model will look pretty
You
good
can call
in
me
BD
whatever. It
style.
doesn't matter. Him, her. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter.
Whatever you prefer. I'm going off of the royal they until you say otherwise. But yeah, I can go with whatever gender pronouns. But the thing that I actually do want to ask you about your VTuber model.
Okay.
So did you do that yourself or did you commission it? Like how did you come up with the idea of I want to specifically do VTubing? Like where did we go from there?
What, like, how did I go to start doing VTubing? Like,
Well,
how did I
like
get the VTuber model
how
and
did
stuff?
you how did the idea, the design for the character that you have? Like where did the
Oh,
thought process go into
Inspiration.
and then like choosing a specific artist and going from that point on?
well, it's actually been a bit of an evolution from things. As far as where the character design came from, I've always had a thing for skulls. I think skulls are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Originally I wanted to take and be an anime reviewer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that I didn't really like writing the scripts and stuff. So I had a name for my character, but essentially it was Little Tiny Grim Reaper. And I was like, the whole YouTube thing, not really working for me. I'm not really digging it. So, years later on, under my previous streaming alias, I had a creature with skulls and tentacle. Oh, it was a skull and a tentacle. Tentacles, sorry. And it was just an icon at the time. And then I had a friend who took that character and then turned it into some fan art of this character, Sharptooth.
Mm-hmm.
And so essentially, because I like when I had my emotes, I was like, okay, I want to give it like some kind of expression, but like without like a body, it seems kind of hard to express. So like, what do I do? And so I had like a little like human body I would attach it to. So they turned that into this, just making the full body green and everything. And so this kind of evolved, and then I gave it like ideas behind like the lore and things like that, and why they're green, and the ideas behind memetic. And truth be told, describing memetic qualities to somebody is really fucking difficult.
Yes.
SCP.
It's very hard to convey something that's not something you can usually physically see. So very hard to fucking convey that shit.
Picture Jesus, but with a lot of dicks.
Yeah, and can make you basically trip acid at like a moment's notice.
SCP. Just say it's SCP stuff.
Essentially, yes, that's one of the common things. I only recently thought of Resident Evil 7 as a good describer because it's like what a lot of people played.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like Resident Evil 7, like a couple of other more mainstream things that have popped up.
It's like with the one episode of Love, Death, and Robots, the first season.
That's a good example. The one with the spider thing.
The spider lady, like it's all in his head, but when he wakes up, he thinks he sees like a sexy spider woman, but it's literally just a grotesque spider.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, I'm still confused. Put me back to sleep.
Yeah. So that's the idea that kind of came from that. But as far as like getting the model and stuff, originally my first model was actually out of a trade. I basically did some voice work for some audio logs they wanted for their character, for their story thing. And in exchange, they took and made me a VTuber model. And since then, I just kind of worked with that. And then I was like, oh, you know what? My chat obviously knows I'm a guy. I guess I'll just have a male model, like a femboy model. They'll probably love that. And they sure as fuck did. And then I was like, you know what? Muscle mommy. Actually, true story. For the first 6 months of me doing my voice work as an NSFWVA, pretty much nobody, actually, I don't think anybody knew that I was a guy.
Yeah.
I kept that as a secret for about 6 months. I at no point hopped into a Discord call. I was just handled my messages. I made sure to edit out any kind of grunts or stuff that could sound masculine and just stand it up and stuff like that. And yeah, and then at one point I was playing video games with a friend, and I really wanted to be better friends and stuff like that with them, so I had to talk. And they're like, "Oh, so you're a guy?" I'm like, I mean, yeah. What's up?
Even better.
I felt bad because I was like, I don't want to take it like I didn't care too much if people hated me. I was like, I didn't want to have people have people hated that were like friends with me. So, you know,
I still find that a little bit saddening in a sense that like people what's the best way? You were worried that people were going to turn away from you just because they thought you were something else. And I'm just sitting there going like, that's kind of odd. I'm saying all of that now because I have friends that are gender fluid. But I got really, really used to like pronouns really simply. And I got used to pronouns because I am horrible with names. So at parties, people would go up to me and say, "Oh, hey, Matt, how have you been?" And I'm like, "Good. How are you doing? How have you been?" And I'm like, I have no idea what their fucking name is. So I just got used to using like you or they, them, just because I'm like, all right, cool. This works. I just need to bail my way out of the fact that I don't know your name. So
Yeah.
Truth be truth be told, I didn't really care too much if people didn't like me because there is no shortage of perverts in the world that would enjoy my voice. I just didn't want it like people around me to catch flack because oh, you're friends with Sharptooth. They did they pretended to be a girl for so long or something or another, and then I didn't want that to happen.
I mean, I'm glad that you have a fan base of people that are supportive of you, because I know that there are some people that I've been friends with that really could have used that support. Now they're in a much happier place, but it is a fucking struggle and a grind and a half. I think I'm gonna take a page out of Wrath's playbook where we say, well, regardless of your gender, it is a pleasure to be able to speak and get to know you and to pick your brain and to just share not safe for work memes and then dunk on Wrath, who's our special little boy.
Shark.
Such a sweetie pie.
Oh my god, yes. Shark. Show him the time of his life.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Get him.
No, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I don't need her. I don't need Sharp to show me the time of my life.
Do it. Break his soul.
Whisper. Who's a good boy, Sonic? Who's a good honey pie?
I'm a good boy too, Mommy.
Jesus Christ.
It's not a punishment. It's not a punishment if you're joining in on it, Wrath.
I'm still a good boy.
I caught them with the spread.
Well,
it caught a stray.
Well, I will say this was something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
There's two things
pretty enjoyable.
There are two things that we need to do first. One, I need to do my catchphrase.
What is your catchphrase? You're adopted?
No, my catchphrase is pop, 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 pop.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And second, it was Sharp's birthday earlier this month, correct?
Oh yeah, it was April 3rd.
So Sonic.
I'm going to casually say I'm willing to do this, but it didn't work last time because we're not in the same room. We have different audio cues. This is going to sync up well.
Doesn't matter. We'll do it anyway.
All right.
And a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Mr.
President. Happy birthday to you.
All right, so this is the point where
Sonic
I give you the lap dance, isn't it? I'm warning you, I have a bony ass. This isn't going to work.
In the name of love. Huh?
So, I'm once again, I'm vibing. I'm enjoying this, but I will casually throw it out to the audience now. For whatever reason, I don't have your audience showing up on mine. Is there anyone on Sharptooth's chat that has any questions that they want to ask to join in on this if they want? And you could just read it out if
this is good news. You can be a bee. You'll live like a bee.
What? What?
What?
Yeah, live like a bee for 30 years. Pet.
I re-accepted your thing.
No,
Reason, I don't love it word.
It's fine.
Because I know there's two versions of that. There's two versions. There's one where it says you're live with so-and-so, but there's another one where it's you can share the chat. I think Sonic gave you the first version of that instead of the second one.
Oh, okay. So that's probably my bad. That's something that I have to learn on my end eventually.
Yeah, so I think when mainly we do that when another person is not streaming.
Yeah,
so that when their community knows that, hey, Sharp's streaming, they can join in on Sonic and be able to, sit and watch. But since you're streaming, we didn't do the shared chat thing.
Sorry, I
got you.
I am a lonely sad boy. I am not used to streaming with other people.
He needs to be punished. Give him correction.
No, I don't need to be punished.
Give him correction.
Whips and chains, baby.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! Don't bully me. I'll come. Anyway, that took a weird
Well,
tangent.
now I'm enticed. Holy shit!
Definitely will.
Now, is there anyone on your chat?
He'll be like, tell me about Expedition 33.
Lord.
It's actually a pretty good game. I'm enjoying it, although it is very difficult to stream and play because you got to focus to get those counter the timing, right?
Yeah.
Best first person shooter. Best first person shooter of the year. Expedition 33.
Is it an FPS? I thought it was third person.
It's not an FPS. Wrath is just pulling my leg.
Oh.
Best multiplayer game too. Won that award too.
Did it also allow your long lost father to come back from the grocery store with milk like he said he was going to do 18 years ago?
Nope, became best stepfather. So.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, there's a little funny thing. We usually jab on AI and stuff from time to time.
We jab on AI all the time. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
you new here, Wrath?
Quiet you. So obviously Pragmatic came out. And if you follow their Twitch, not their Twitch page, their Twitter page, it's box standard, stuff like that. So Capcom came out recently and said that Pragmata has AI generated art in there.
Yeah.
Before Sonic freaks out.
I know where we're going with it. I've seen the memes.
But obviously everybody started freaking the fuck out.
Yes.
And then they said that the Twitter thing is run by AI as well. So again, everybody started freaking out again until someone with more than one brain cell said, you guys do know that in the game she's an artificial person, which means she's AI. So the stuff that she drew is literally AI generated. And then the joke finally hit.
Yeah.
And then for the second part, they were like, well, what about the Twitter page? It's run by the character from the game.
Yeah. No, I heard about that. I thought it was funny.
Like, I at first I was like, oh, great. Now we have Expedition 33. Now we got this game. And then I started realizing, like, wait. The gift of the equations popping into my mind. I was like, oh, you motherfuckers. All right, you got me there.
Yeah.
So
not familiar.
So funny enough, I just activated the shared chat thing. I figured out what it was, and I'm like, okay, I am an idiot.
What was it, Sonic? What button did you forget to press this time?
You know what? I am just going to leave it as is, and I'm just going to let your imagination do it because I do not want to dig myself a hole. If I dig myself any further, I will wind up on the other side of the world, and I don't want that because I am
for Mommy Sharp.
I am a paragon of virtue. I am sponsored. I am not you hedonistic.
Sonic, you do realize I have Sharp on my side here. She will break you.
This is
Brave Heracles. She will break you upon her wheel.
Another advice, sweetie. Sit down and be a good boy.
Yes, mommy.
Why is you were? Oh my god. See, that's the thing about Wrath. I don't.
mommy.
Yeah, that's the thing about Wrath. I don't think he'll ever be a dom, because he'll turn to you and say he'll ask you to make him a sandwich, and then you'll turn him into a sub.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do.
Tuck me in a bit, please.
I like seeing people squirm. It gives me energy, honestly.
Sonic, you just don't understand. I can be strong, guff, and whatnot, but
No,
at the end of the day,
not
I want to be babied by someone that clicks that button for me and just makes me feel like I am the center of the universe. All right?
I'm sure you got a button that can be clicked.
Oh dear lord.
Shit, my
So Wrath is clicker trained. No.
Oh my god.
You mean that
But
one?
yeah,
Yeah.
Lord.
This one? Or that one?
Lord.
There's a.
But yeah, no. I hate AI. I'm anti AI to the max. I know
Oh, yeah.
Pragmata was a whole joke and stuff like that, but yeah, no, I hate AI.
So we're in a weird situation because, like, so my experience as the lead singer of a rock band, I've done shows with bands that will use AI to make a poster for the show that we're doing together, and I'm just looking at them going like, this feels morally wrong. Like,
Soulless is what it is.
I can understand if you want to just do it because you're trying to save time or whatever, but like as I sat and I talked with the band that did it for the poster for the show that we're doing, I'm sitting there going like, are you using AI for anything else? And they're like, yeah, actually a lot of our releases, if we have like an EP or a single launch, we'll use AI. And I'm like, dude, the fuck?
That's so gross.
Yeah.
Like,
That's so gross.
for me, AI is like I draw the line at like say a multi-billion-dollar corporation using AI for like, making art, stuff like that. Because one, you have the money. Fork it over and give these people something to do. Right?
Yeah. I'm morally
if it's
against
so- now-
literally anybody using any amount of AI for any
Like-
amount of creativity.
Like I'm morally against it too, but I can understand it. Say it's like a small business or something, and they just don't have the capital to do so. But I can understand like say someone is trying to make a game, but instead of wasting their time, effort, and money on trying to say build an environment, they want to see what that environment would potentially look like in their game and create it, but then of course be like, all right, that doesn't fit, take it out. I'll do it by hand. I'll try to.
Yeah, no. With me, it's like my ability to understand why someone might use it, or the person that might use it, might be one thing, but my fluctuation on the moral ethics of it is still the same. It's rot always starts small, and it will always grow bigger. If we want to take and make sure AI doesn't succeed at all, it has to be an all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah.
There are some applications that AI can be used for, like, for example, extremely fringe sciences are understandable, but like anything beyond that, any kind of writing, any kind of music, any kind of art, it's all theft. It all takes and builds a rot that takes and goes on itself. And even if you might be like, oh, I just want to use it for like some running some ideas and stuff like that, any amount of revenue that goes towards those people that can take and get that extra bit of like, bonus, like add like attention and revenue, is just something else that'll feed the demon. And if you wanted to starve, you got to vote with your wallet and vote with your time. So, I mean, while I might be like my mom, for example, she'll use AI for like stupid shit. It's still, I don't think it's okay, but I'm not going to lecture my mom on it. So I'm just like,
my mom uses Grok all the time.
I don't condone it in any kind of way. I don't use it in any kind of way. About the most that might get a use out of me is if I am looking up on Google, and I still don't even like that. I would like, I don't like if I need to find any kind of information on something like nutritional
Recipes.
facts or well, not recipes necessarily, but anything nutritional or preferably like schematics, like debugging things. I'll do my best of taking find actual articles and things like that on there, and because it's not trustworthy and it only feeds the machine.
Feeds the beast.
So I say all of this because once again I keep going back to Troy Baker, who is someone who is supportive of AI. Now, I can't remember if he was also the person who tried lending his voice to AI companies, but he got on a talk saying not to be scared of artificial intelligence, says Troy Baker, because it's going to push us towards the authentic rather than the gruel that gets distilled to me through a black mirror, which I'm just sitting there going, like, what the fuck does that mean? And he basically said AI can create content, but it cannot create art. And the reason why is because that invariably requires the human experience. What I see happening is that this birth of AI and this burgeoning industry of it is actually going to drive people to the authentic. And we're going to see opportunities like, I want to go and watch this person sing a song live. I want to see theater. I want to read books. I want to have firsthand experience as opposed to the gruel that gets distilled to me through a black mirror. What the fuck does that mean? Is he in favor of it or is he not? Because he's not.
Sounds like he's in favor of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that might be true. There might be it'll be a diamond in the turd kind of situation, in a turd sandwich kind of deal. It's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, the really bright stuff shine really bright, but there will be so much inauthentic garbage. And that's the fucking art aspect, and thievery is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to there is so much more other horrid shit that fucking exists now because of AI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everything from not being able to trust what you see to the very disturbing types of work that people think they should produce, to fucking the stupidification of general intelligence among people, to the fucking pollution that is like just ramping up, to people's electric bills, to fucking OpenAI going and working with
like these AI data centers are opening up, and I'm like, I was like, okay, so they're opening up, and then they're saying, so they're going to be taking in a lot more energy. So instead,
and then everybody else has a power bill.
So instead of the multi-billion-dollar corporation that opened this up, that should be footing this bill, nah, y'all, grandma, grandpa, the disabled guy, the guy that has no legs, all your shit's getting jacked up. You gotta support these people.
I worry about the cost that artificial intelligence has towards water. And the reason why, once again, is like I'm sitting there going, well, how much energy, how much water is needed? How sure are we that it can be properly recycled back into the system? How much is lost? Because there are a lot of places in the world that are starting to lose water. And not because of artificial intelligence, just because of like where they're located and series of droughts and things like that. And eventually
global warming and shit.
Yeah, global warming and shit. Eventually it can cause catastrophic situation. And I don't want to know that we've ruined a very important life-giving resource because some shithead wants to make an artificial intelligent video, or some fracking company wants to get natural gas from underneath the Earth's rock.
Yeah.
So it just feels like people are thinking that we have infinite resources on this planet, and I'm like, no, we're here for a finite time, and once all of that, there's going to be a point where eventually, if we don't start doing something, it will impact other people's lives.
I want to know how many AI data centers there are in California, because I know
too fucking many.
Because I do know this.
Any amount above one is too fucking many.
But because I know that the second that California gets lit on fire again for the 80 millionth time, even though they are literally next to a fucking ocean. But, you know, that's a story for a different time.
Mm-hmm.
We all know all that water's going to the AI data set, the centers. we all know that whoever owns the reserves, they're like, nah, this center needs it more. Make sure that doesn't get caught on fire because I got half of my shit invested in that. And everyone else is going to be like, well, we have no drinking water. My house is currently on fire, and we need stronger gun controls because of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, AI is just a cancer in every regards and needs
I'm
to be
waiting for this
purged.
bubble to pop so bad, man.
So instead of focusing on doom and gloom for a second, let's actually bring things back to a higher point,
Yeah,
if you will.
or positive.
Because I don't want to drag you
Let's
down
bully
right
Sonic.
now.
Let's bully Sonic. There we go.
No, we just had this thing. Let's talk about what are some things that you like to do outside of voice acting. Like, what are your passions? What things make you hobbies and make you smile, or things that you're really excited about coming up?
Like, what movie you want to see?
Well, outside of voice acting, I've got gaming, obviously, streaming. I do a lot of this and a lot of that. A lot of my other time is dedicated to my job or spending time with my wife, and I also collect movies. I've recently been collecting analog DVDs.
Nice.
I'm up to about 40 or 50 so right now. I get them from like Goodwills and other places. They sell them cheap. My Caramel, she's not from America. She's actually from the Philippines.
Mhm.
So she hasn't seen a lot of the movies that I have. And so we'll have our little movie marathons. Here soon I'm gonna be teaching her how to play video games a bit better. So we can do things like play Halo 1 and stuff. Outside of that, I don't really have a whole lot of hobbies outside of that. Using
Any
weed recreationally. Huh?
Any movies that are coming out that you're super interested in seeing?
No, but I am excited for the new Alien Isolation game.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they dropped that teaser the other day, didn't they?
I was so happy.
What do you think it's going to be like a what we call an immediate sequel, like taking a couple months or years after the first one, or you think it's going to be on Hadley's Hope? Because everyone thinks it's taking place on Hadley's Hope.
It might be on Hadley's Hope. That'd be the first place I would think of.
Because if it takes place on Hadley's Hope, then it's going to have to take place literally, because we don't know how long from the infection, which is the aliens taking over, and the Colonial Marines coming in. So we don't know I can't remember what the time period.
It was a few weeks. I know they got word on like Earth. It's like, hey, a place went quiet. We need you to go there. And Weyland-Yutani obviously knew what it was. That's why they sent Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, if it's on there, that's pretty cool. I mean, it could easily show up anywhere else though. So we'll see.
Because I'm like, man, we're really pushing up against the timeline, because Alien Isolation, the first one, is considered canon, I believe.
I would wager it probably isn't, because
maybe like canon at least.
No, I would wager this is likely not that, because this one takes place after Alien 2. The first Alien Isolation takes place after Alien 2. Because in Alien 2, they told Ripley that her daughter was dead, and by that point in time, if her daughter wasn't in cryosleep, she would be dead.
Because if I remember correctly, and of course, they said the same thing for whoever Sean Bean's character was. Well, not Sean Bean. I don't know who played Hicks. Hicks? Yeah, Hicks.
Bill.
Yeah.
They said not Bill Pullman.
Yeah, not Bill Paxton. Not Bill Paxton. It's the other guy. He played Kyle Reese. That's how I know his name. Because when Aliens, Colonial Marines, the video game came out, and I forever hate that game with an utmost passion, but apparently it's still considered canon, even regardless, is that character was not in Alien 3 in the cryosleep. It was just some random dude, and they just jacked him up all the way, but he's technically still alive.
That's
so
weird.
From what I was told, from what I remember, Alien 2 takes place about 60-ish years after the fact, 60 or 70 years, because Ripley gets a photo of her daughter because her daughter's already dead at this point.
Yeah.
And she looks at the photo and she's like an old lady, like a straight up an old lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if it is going to be a sequel, it's going to be a pseudo prequel to Alien 2, or it's going to take place like somewhere in the middle and all that, because we have Alien Romulus that came out. That's set in between those two as well.
The reason why I think it's going to be before Aliens 2 is because where it left off in the end of the first one was Ripley's daughter floating in space.
Yeah.
And they left it on a cliffhanger. So it would make sense for them to naturally try to fill in what happened after that.
Because I think there was a game that was released. I think it was a mobile game that took place afterwards. But again, for me, if you make it like a quote unquote sequel and it's a mobile game, I don't consider it a sequel.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put it on the platform that it was on, I don't consider it a sequel.
No.
What movies would you recommend? Because you're someone who is a bit of a cinephile, so I'm like, okay.
What about
with
the
what you got?
So many good movies. Okay, what do you want? Horror or action? Those are the ones I know most of.
So I am a wuss for horror, but I'm willing to dip my toes into it. So if you got horror, yeah. So for me,
I've got. Okay, continue.
For me, the kind of horror that I don't like gore. I like sort of like a suspense buildup. There's this one movie I watched called Identity, which basically has John Cusack, Ray Liotta, and the premise of it is they're a bunch of people that wind up in this motel because all the roads are flooded, and you find out that one of them is a killer and is like killing.
Oh yeah. I remember. I watched someone do a breakdown of that. I remember that movie.
It's a great horror in that it has the suspense and the terror involved in it, but it doesn't have the gore. And that's one of the things that
that's a good twist too.
It's got I
don't want to say like a groundbreaking twist, but like a really good. I didn't see it coming.
I mean, so I had an idea for a horror film where it's like a bunch of college kids on a campus and someone is going around killing it, and you're sitting there thinking that one of the cast members is secretly the killer, and it's really like a guy who's off to the side, like a guy in the washroom who's like, hey, you guys didn't dry your hands. And then you find out at the very end, it's like as he's choking out the last girl, he's like, you never dried your hands. You never dried your hands.
You filthy son of a bitch.
Yeah. So it's like having that fake out is kind of par for the course. But what do you got? Both action and horror. Give me what you think.
Okay, so as far as horror goes, I've got a good list. I've got, let's see, one of my favorite movies of all time, Thing 1, Thing 2.
They made a sequel to The Thing?
They did a prequel.
Oh,
but yeah,
right.
You've got...
I'll give you some facts about that, too.
The Alien series. 1 and 2, amazing, gold. The third one, nobody likes that one. Fourth one is more leaning towards action than it is horror.
Yeah.
Prometheus, I don't give a fuck what people say. Good horror movie.
I like Prometheus.
It's a good movie.
And I like the one after it.
It's not the best Alien movie, but it's a good movie. Caramel thinks it's her favorite.
Covenant's pretty good.
Covenant fucking frustrated me. Bit of a side tangent. Scientists know fucking better than take their helmets off on an alien planet.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't care if the oxygen is breathable. The bacteria in the air will fucking drop you and you will die.
Yeah,
but they have wheat like on Earth.
Yeah, they're fucking stupid.
So
aside from that pissing me off, the rest of the movie was great.
Dungeons and Dragons, high intellect, low wisdom.
Yeah, except all of them somehow.
Yeah.
And then fucking Romulus, terrible fucking horror movie up until the very end, and then it's fucking awesome.
What?
I didn't like Romulus. It has that vibe of like those weird movies that were like really popular from like 2010 to like 2016, where you have
I don't know. I'm kind of like on the opposite end. I was like, I greatly enjoyed the first like 80% of the movie, and I was kind of iffy about the last bit because I was like, you're trying to pull off a freaking was it Resurrection again? You're trying to pull that off.
It had there were nods I liked. There were parts of it I did like, but like it had that vibe of like the weird 2010 to 2016 type of movies where you had like this one kid who was like way more badass than they have any right being, and it just doesn't feel
And
authentic.
granted, they had that one dude that literally got taken out by a stationary object.
Yeah, they like it had they had like Twilight, the Fifth Wave, Maze Runner, all those fucking movies.
Oh, the coming of age movies.
Yeah,
I got that vibe too. I was like,
that part really fucking ruined a fair part of the movie for me. But like a lot of the other, like, unfortunately, that just kind of murks up a lot of the movie that I enjoyed. Unfortunately,
but it was a bloody good time.
There was a lot of references that I liked, a lot of things I thought were pretty cool, a lot of scenes I thought were pretty neat.
I mean, they had the save stations from
Isolation in there. I liked a lot of it. But that part just was kind of that whole part of that. But the final scene was awesome. That thing was fucking terrifying looking.
I mean, granted, when I first saw it, I was like, what? When I first saw it, I was like, what the fuck is that thing?
That was a demon.
And that is a real dude. That is a real dude. That's just like just chilling out with like just with the prosthetics. That dude is that tall. I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Aside from the Alien series, I've got Shutter Island, unrelated but awesome movies. Shutter with Leonardo DiCaprio, fucking awesome. And then Shutter, that's a movie about a photographer who goes to Japan with his wife, and they find out some really horrible shit, and it's really good.
Okay.
Missed Call, Quarantine, Cloverfield series, 1 through 3.
I love Cloverfield.
You've got The Gallows.
That one too.
I haven't seen all of the Scream series, but Scream, Freddy vs. Jason is just an amazing horror
all-time
comedy
favorite
movie.
My all-time favorite.
Ash, the Evil Dead movies.
And then they bring him back.
There's so fucking many. I could probably think of more. Dead Snow 1 and 2, weirdly enough.
So I'm going to say no to Dead Snow.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Dead Snow.
So there's this bar in downtown Toronto, and it's called the Bovine Sex Club. It is the punk rock venue in all of Toronto. And the reason why is because they don't close until 5 o'clock in the morning. And
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. But so when all the bars close down, a lot of people just go to the Bovine afterwards. As a result, a lot of bands play there. I've played there a couple times, and at one point, I'm sitting down, and I'm tired. I'm just waiting for my set to start, and above the bar are like 4 televisions, and they're all playing like different things. Like usually they're like old school, retro, boudoir / stripping stuff, but sometimes they'll put on like old cartoons and horror movies. And I remember sitting in the corner waiting for my set to go on, and they would play like Slither, and they would also play the first Dead Snow movie. And I was watching movie. Like everything's muted, but like they have subtitles on, so you could actually figure out what the fuck is going on through that. I remember being traumatized watching Dead Snow, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. Matt, you're going to be on stage in 10 minutes. I don't want this.
I think my favorite zombie movie of all time is actually Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is probably my favorite
original?
zombie movie. Night of the Living Dead was the original one.
Okay.
No, you're good. A great movie though, love it. But no, Dawn of the Dead, the one that were in the mall, that one's really awesome. It's my favorite. It's a classic for me.
Oh yeah. So we've got sort of a lot of horror, but we do have Shutter Island, which is more of a suspense. Yeah.
Suspense, but it's kind of leans into horror a little bit, but it's like kind of dips its toe more into it more than anything. But yeah, it is more suspense.
So this is actually really interesting because, like, if I were to give you film recommendations based upon this type of stuff that I watch, it's a complete, like, different genre switch entirely. which
yeah.
I always find interesting. Like, because I'll sit there and they're like, "Oh, Matt, what movies would you recommend?" And I'm like, "Okay, I want to tell you about a little known gem called Kung Pao Enter the Fist," and
Oh my god!
God.
Yes! Kung Pao Enter the Fist and Kung Fu Hustle. Amazing movies.
both fantastic movies, both
I
incredibly
showed my wife
quotable.
that Kung Fu Hustle. She laughed so hard.
They're both fantastic movies. I'm
Absolutely.
actually relatively like a comedy guy. And I think the reason why is because when I grew up, my dad would leave me like, well, not leave me. He's still around, but he had like a huge VHS collection, and I would watch like The Shining, but then I'd also watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I'd watch Monty
Yeah.
Python so much, and to the point where I'm like, I can almost quote it verbatim. I also grew up watching Shawshank Redemption, Field of Dreams.
Oh my god!
Right.
Such a good movie.
Such like I
You know,
can't
I cried so hard after that. That hurt so
right
much.
right.
Oh my god! On the subject of Stephen King, my favorite, probably my other favorite movie of all time is The Mist. I
Oh, really?
love The Mist. It's such a good fucking movie. Oh my god! Yes.
And that twist at the end as well.
It is. Stephen King didn't even have that in his original book. They actually made that, and he liked their ending more.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown on the cutting room floor. Like Stephen King is I don't know if you've seen some of the other Stephen King movies, but the guy has a flair for B-movie stuff. Like, I think he had with Maximum Overdrive, it's quite clear.
Yes.
It's like, don't take this seriously at all.
He hyped it up as being really serious at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna show you what true horror looks like.
And it's like, okay, this is schmaltz. This is
He's just taking
schlock.
the piss.
This is glorious schlock. But that's okay because you mentioned the Evil Dead franchise. Well, what makes Evil Dead 2 such a fantastic horror movie is the schlock, is the weird decisions. Because the original Evil Dead, once again, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and you can kind of watch in real time as the movie goes along. They're starting to pick up the tricks of the trade. Although the one part that almost everyone involved in the movie did not like, then they're like, oh, this probably was a bad decision, was the tree scene from the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember that one.
But like I'm kind of as well. I like watching certain movies, not indie movies per se, but like movies that don't really get a lot of love. There's this great movie that's starring Frank Whaley and unfortunately Kevin Spacey, but they do a fantastic job. It's called Swimming with Sharks. And Frank Whaley is kind of like this new intern for Kevin Spacey's character. I think they're working for some kind of film studio, but like more along the business aspect, and Kevin Spacey is nailing the boss from hell role, and it's driving Frank Whaley's character completely batshit insane. And I don't want to spoil the ending of the movie, but it's actually a really well acted, low budget piece that I can't help recommending enough. There's also, I don't know how you are on superhero movies, but there was like a time in the early 2000s where they were like, superhero movies weren't what they are now. They were experimenting,
definitely.
They were avant-garde, they were sort of like all over the place. There's this one movie that's starring Chow Yun-fat, Seann William Scott, called Bulletproof Monk. Hugo Weaving is the villain in the film. It is a really sound movie that I do strongly recommend. It's obviously going to get overshadowed because The Matrix came out during that time, but like I strongly recommend Bulletproof Monk. It's a great watch.
One that I think of is The One. That
the
makes me think
one,
of
yes,
The One
with Jet Li. Yeah.
Caught my stepdad showed me at the time. He goes, "Watch this," and it's
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
I am
like,
not
oh
locked
my god, that's so fucking cool.
Jet Li versus Jet Li.
Oh my! He kicked the guy in the air, paused the game, and then busted his ass into the ground. What the fuck?
Yeah. I am nobody's bitch. You are mine.
So do you watch a lot of analog horror?
Yes.
You mean like found footage?
Or
Oh,
wait, you're talking about like the ones with like the semi found footage ones online.
Yeah, that's what analog horror is. It's like it's barely like sometimes it's think of it as more like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Talking about like old TV shows that we
Like
used
a
to have horror with.
slideshow of horror where they don't show a lot, but they explain what's going on. And when they do show something, it's very disturbing.
Usually, the most closest I come to enjoying that frequently is found footage films, like Quarantine, Cloverfield, and things like that. But the other thing, I guess, would probably be SCP. I
Because
listen to SCPs when I'm bored.
Because there's several series that I do watch on the regular, and one of them is being turned into a feature-length movie, and it's called The Backrooms.
Oh, yeah, I know the backgrounds. I'm familiar with it.
There's a series called Man in the Suit by Unknowingly, and it is a different take on Godzilla. All right?
All right.
So, short version is Godzilla was never real. Everything that has happened in real life has happened. Japanese are making a monster movie to basically, to explain or to, I guess, have a creative outlet of what happened to them.
Yeah.
So they're making the Godzilla movie, and the guy that's in the suit, he's a survivor of the atomic bombings, and for whatever reason, for some reason, his body explodes in the suit, reforms into the suit, and he is basically the suit. Hence the name Man in the Suit. And
okay.
So apparently he's still like somewhat conscious, but throughout the series he gets more and more animalistic, literally becoming the monster essentially, and he can infect other people who wear suits to become those monsters.
That's weird. That makes me think of like Goosebumps or some shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a very short form of me saying it because we don't know how he became like this, nor how him doing that to other people in suits does that to them.
But interesting.
But it's a very good watch.
Yeah.
The guy but I'm not going to get too much down, but the Godzilla community is a bunch of toxic little shits, to be honest.
I've heard. No, you were talking about superheroes earlier. There is actually a series I just finished, and I'm really sad about it because I have no way to get my audiobook high for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Worm. You ever heard of Worm?
No, I have not. Pitch to me.
No.
It's probably the most badass fucking hero series I have ever had the pleasure of listening to.
WORM?
Yep, Worm. And then it's followed by the second book called Ward. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get a third book because just like the stupid Godzilla fandom, there's shitty fandom in Worm, and they bully the artist into not wanting to take and make another volume because the way shippers and fucking whiny bitches be.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to take and spoil too much because I really highly recommend giving it a read or listening to the audiobook. But to go over like 3 cliff notes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a decent number of people. You know how like in DC and Marvel, everybody gets their powers from something different?
Yeah.
Superman comes through space, Spider-Man got bit by a spider, Batman has dead parents, so on and so forth. And that's how they all get their superpowers.
Dead parents and money.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
the DC universe is all about inherited, right? Like you're destined for it, including Bruce Wayne. You were destined to have dead parents, whereas Marvel is more not like weird science shit where it happens to common average everyday people and dealing with that.
Yeah. So in Worm, all but like 2 exceptions, everybody gets their powers from the same place. It's called a trigger event.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what happened is at some point, this dude who's kind of a euphemism for Jesus or Superman, combine them together, just showed up and just been flying around the earth, helping out with stuff, just fixing things. Doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't do anything to anybody, doesn't have conversations, doesn't stick around for interviews, just fixes shit.
Yep.
And then for some reason, people started getting superpowers randomly. Here and there, people were just getting weird powers. It can be anything from shooting fire out of your hands to hearing other people's thoughts to anything you can think of. And I can guarantee you 100% without a shadow of doubt, there is about a couple dozen ideas that pop up in there that you never even considered. They're very, very creative with their powers. For example, one character has super intuition. She doesn't know everything. She can't see everything, but she can take your eyes twitching in a weird way to tell her a plethora of information about you.
He's about to pull a gun.
Just a up and down from you can tell a lot of habits you have, probably which stores you freaking, what's your build, how fast you run, a shit ton of information that you wouldn't even think about, and she knows it all almost instantaneously.
A walking, talking oracle.
Yeah, but she can't see everything, and she can't predict everything, but she can use clues that would otherwise seem inconsequential to literally... She's basically basically Sherlock Holmes on fucking steroids in slow motion.
I'm interested.
24/7. But anyway, everybody gets their powers through something called a trigger event. It can be something really positive that happens. Something fills you with a lot of joy. But a good 95% of the time, it's something fucking horrifying. Something... imagining on your worst day and then probably triple it is about as bad as like me dying would probably have to be a little bit worse to get a trigger event. But that time when I died probably could have triggered that. And so what happens is usually, generally speaking, your power that you get is either somehow coordinating with things about yourself, your hobbies, your knowledge, or something like that. And then also usually with whatever is going on around you, what caused you to have that horrible moment. So like if I drowned, I could have developed gills or some hydrokinesis or the ability to have a small spatial field around my body that wouldn't allow me to drown or produce nonstop oxygen or any number of fucking things. And so you get trigger events. And so that means that unfortunately, due to the, how most people get their powers, a lot of them turn out to be villains. So there's not as many good guys as there are bad guys. Granted, plenty of people have horrible shit happen to them and become good people.
Yep.
But yeah, that's usually how it happens. The second thing, there are one of those exceptions. We're not 100% sure still, despite the series being over. There are things called Inbringers. They are basically walking fucking apocalypses. Each one of them is like a natural disaster on the good day. One of them's name is Leviathan. He has the ability to... They always know where he is because someone's tracking him with basically GPS, and sometimes they lose track of him just a little bit, but they usually get him. You'll know when he's coming because about 3 tsunamis back to back will be lining up to whatever coast he's about to wreck into. As soon as that tsunami hits there, he's swimming through the water, killing off anything that didn't fucking die from the impact. And only the most powerful of people with force fields can hold him back. Because, like, at one point, the main character is, like, in this bubble, and you can see a shadow swimming in the ocean almost faster than her eyes can keep track of. And you see these little lights in the distance, which are people with their force fields just getting snuffed out one after the other. And it's like, I'm like, holy shit. And then it slams into her shield. And luckily, she just so happens to be in a fucking spot with one of the more powerful people who can make shields. She doesn't even know him. They don't even become friends. She just happens to be there. And it fucks off and goes kills a bunch of other people. And, like, there are characters that will be in there that you'll be like, oh my god, this is teeing up to be, like, a real situation. Like, this guy's gonna be the next big thing. Oh, never mind. He's fucking dead. You're like, this guy was, like, the next big bad. Nope,
he's dead.
Leviathan's here. They're dead. He can move fast as fuck on land, too, to the point to where he has a technique where he'll, like, fly at you at Mach fuck, put the brakes on, and let a wall of water hit you, moving so fast it's like getting hit by concrete. And it'll just shatter people's bones. And he's wicked fucking smart. And to top it all off, his body has been described as ever infinitely increasing density. So, like, people have shot him, and, like, they're like, oh, cool, we got through the first few layers. But no matter what we hit him with, we can't pierce any deeper. And and that's the easy one. That's the easy one out of the 3.
So I have.
and they're just
Oh, keep going.
no, it's just terrifying.
So I have.
It's just terrifying.
I have 2 recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure you might have already seen them, but we'll see. First, Chow Yun Fat in Hard Boiled is such a fucking dope Chinese action film.
Okay.
Primarily, so he plays a character, Inspector Tequila, and it is kung fu with guns. That is it is the original version of gun kung fu that I cannot.
Literally right before The Matrix made it more popular.
That makes me
Yeah.
think of Wanted. I fucking love Wanted.
Oh, if you like Wanted, I would strongly recommend that you give Hard Boiled a shot. It is not in English. Once again, it's a Hong Kong action film, but it is
Okay.
absolutely dope. The next one is okay. Have you ever watched Your Name?
No, unfamiliar.
It's not. It's an animated romance slash. There's so many things that are happening in Your Name that I need to be very careful because I don't want to spoil it out of the bag. The premise of it is there is this one guy who's living in the city who hates his existence. He's going to high school and just trying to make it work. Meanwhile, there's a girl who's out in the middle of the boondocks who's bored with her life and wants to live out in the city. And one day, they both go to sleep, wake up, and they're in each other's bodies. And they don't understand why, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And it starts off really
Basically, a classic Freaky Friday kind of situation.
yeah, it's kind of like a Freaky Friday thing, but they don't know about each other, and they're trying to figure out who the other person is, and they're trying to, write information on their bodies saying, hey, while I was in your body on this day, I did this, this, X, Y, and Z. So they're like swapping and they're living each other's lives, but then they'll go back to sleep and be back in their normal body. And so they're like trying to help each other out, and it becomes lighthearted. Then it gets really serious. And I can't tell you any more than that. It kind of goes into supernatural territory. But at its heart, it is like a romance movie as well. And
that sounds nice.
Trust me, I have my copy of the ticket in my room from when I saw it at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center. I ran out and bought the DVD. I cried, but not only did I cry, the animation was beautiful. The director went on to do a few other movies. He did like Weathering with You, which I saw at the Toronto International Film Festival. It is not as good as Your Name, but it is still a good movie. But yeah,
I might have to. If you could DM me those so I can take a look at them at some point.
absolutely, positively.
It about reminds me of that movie Together with Dave Franco.
I haven't seen that one. Pitch it to me, Rap.
It's a horror movie. All right.
Okay, we're off to a weird start.
So literally this newlywed couple, I think it's a newlywed couple if I'm not reading it right. They move in to this house, and on the property there's like a cave, and they go exploring and they fall into the cave, and one person is hurt, but they manage to get a signal out to get rescued. And while they're down there, one person's like really, really thirsty, and there's like this like natural spring that's there. And then there's these like weird, I guess, hieroglyphs and stuff like that. So both of them drink the water, and they feel more rejuvenated and stuff like that. Well, they get rescued, and they go to the hospital, and they go back home. But they start realizing they want to be closer to each other, more than usual. Like they're always together. But then every time like they like actually make physical contact, they're noticing that it's kind of harder for them to let go. And when they're like, why is it hard for us to let go? And when they look down at their hand is like both their hands are like trying to fuse to one another.
Oh, I remember
Yes.
seeing not trailers. I remember seeing the poster for it, and I'm like, the fuck is this?
Yeah. So it's Like they realize that the cave that they were in and the water that they drank is like a pseudo mystical or something like that. And the cave drawings show like two individuals, a man and a woman, or like just two individuals who are like obviously in love, and they're they're holding hands, and it shows them both combining to be one person.
That's freaky.
Essentially. So first it's horrifying, and then it gets slightly funny because they're trying to get it on, and of course we all know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, we can't do that, and it's like complete back and forth, and it's just like body horror up to the max.
Oh man, that sounds interesting nonetheless.
It's not gory, it's just like you're seeing two people like getting stuck face to face and stuff like that, and you're like,
body horror.
you're like,
It's body horror.
I'm not the biggest fan on body horror. I'm not going to lie.
It's not
The
like
only type
David. It's not like David Cronenberg or anything like that.
The only type of horror that I don't usually do is gore horror. I don't like seeing people prolongedly suffering, like in Saw. Like if like I love The Thing. That shit's terrifying, and I fucking love it. It's so fucking cool, but it doesn't like drag the death out crazy far.
Yeah,
It's like okay,
Wilford Brimley dies right then and there. We don't have to deal with the insanity of like, kill me, kill me.
Yeah.
The second movie kind of.
I'm okay for it happening just like a few seconds. Like, oh man, that character looks like he's really. Oh man, that really sucks. But it's not like, now take this spoon and pop your eyeball out so you can get a key, or dive into this pit full of fucking syringes or some shit. I'm like, I don't want to see that. It looks uncomfortable. Just kill me already.
The second Thing movie kind of pissed me off, not for like the obvious reasons, but for near the end, where they finally destroy the ship and they're about to leave, and you got the final guy and the final girl, and the final girl. The final girl finally realizes that the guy is a thing, and she literally has the thing in a spot where it can't really do anything without freaking dying. So at that point, I'm like, all right, start asking it questions. Like, what the fuck does it want? And like,
it's not going to. It's
not going.
It didn't. Honestly, I wouldn't even care what the fuck it wants. It dies. It killed everybody I knew.
I'll be like, it was like. Are you still you, or do you think you're you, or are you really just a thing pretending to be you?
No.
It's like, give me those answers, but nope, flamethrower.
No, I would cook that motherfucker right then and there. Absolutely fucking not. I don't need to know how or why. That's just another chance for it to do its bullshit. Nope, I burn the whole damn place down if I have to. I'm good. Doesn't fucking matter. I love those movies. Those are perfect horror movies, in my opinion.
Have you played the game?
I did. It was,
They remade it.
I know. I played the remake. I didn't really care for it too much, unfortunately.
Have any of you guys ever played the game Red Dead Revolver?
No.
Hold on. Red Dead Revolver.
It's literally the first game in the Red Dead Redemption series.
Well, it's a very different game compared to Red Dead Redemption, but
It's like the same. It has like the Deadeye mechanic.
Yeah,
and it's also it's sort of like how the 3D GTA games are not canon to the high definition GTA games.
Maybe. I honestly can't say I recall, to be honest.
Okay,
it's more of a
Red Dead Revolver is a linear story. It's not set in an open world, and it is a tale of revenge. But I found out very recently that Red Dead Revolver is incredibly based on a movie made by Sam Raimi called The Quick and the Dead. And ever since I found that out, I'm like, I need...
Yeah, I did.
Sorry.
I played that. No, I was just sorry. I was just saying, yeah, I played that actually. I remember that. You had little shootouts and stuff where you'd have the
quick
you did a draw.
Mechanics. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, okay, I've seen it. Yeah,
but you're like a mercenary as well who goes on and is like, okay, well, I'm going to take out all these bandits so I can get money and get my name prominent, but really I'm doing
Brett
it
Harlow is his name.
I'm doing it as a means of finding the people who killed my mom and dad, and I'm doing this to bring law to the Wild West type of situation. But I found out that it was heavily inspired by The Quick and the Dead, which was done by Sam Raimi. Gene Hackman's like the villain. Russell Crowe is one of the main characters. And it's
a young
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I keep forgetting he's in that movie. I'm like a very young Leo in there. I'm like,
yeah, no, I played the game. I definitely haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
so, I only know of a few old westerns.
I'm not that much of a Western guy. Like I think one of the few Westerns I liked was Gunless, and that was because it was kind of like not necessarily a satirization, but it was a really good, unique take on deconstructing the Western genre that I wasn't expecting.
I have 2 Western movies that I like the most.
Oh,
one of them was the remake to 3:10 to Yuma, and the other one, and this was I wouldn't say a low budget, but it's more of a done with a very decent budget, made with love and care, and has good actors in it, but it was never released in theaters. It's called Old Henry.
The name Old Henry sounds familiar.
Well, the pitch is, well, if I explain it, it does have a little bit of a twist. It has a twist there.
Okay.
But it follows this guy called Henry and his son, and his wife recently passed away, and they live kind of very recluse a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Henry has like a little box, well, a decent sized box that he keeps underneath his bed, and he always tells his son, do not open that box under any circumstance. So there's something in the box, and when you get little hints about what's in the box, there's like papers and stuff in the box, and there's like news clippings and stuff. So Henry is someone of either I'll leave it at this. Henry either is admiring someone, or Henry has a very checkered past and is someone of great significance in Western history.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because he tries to avoid conflict and violence as much as possible. He's legit not trying to draw attention to him, and yet but his son keeps seeing him pulling off these crack shots, like off in the backyard. Like he knows his dad can shoot. He knows his dad can shoot very well, but he refuses to use that when shit comes to town, because there's like a deputy that they find hurt and wounded with a knapsack full of cash. And of course, that inadvertently brings trouble to his doorstep. But it is it's kind of on a slow beginning, and there's a mystery, and then when the crescendo hits and you finally realize who Henry really is, you're like, holy shit! And then all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good movie. It has Trace Atkins, the freaking country music star, in there as well.
Nice.
I love that guy.
So, guys, we are at a good sort of send-off point. I had other things that were written down.
I was about to say the same.
Yeah, I had other things written down, but I'm like, there's no way I can talk about this. Like,
what were the things?
Casually, you mentioned that you threw like a cigarette lighter at a friend of yours, but the cigarette lighter was broken.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a very brief. That's a very brief story. I had a car at the time.
Yeah.
Those things you push in. Yeah, it was broken, and I knew it was broken. He just didn't know it was broken, so I just threw it in his lap to fuck with him.
And your brother checking his hand on a burner just to see if it was warm or whatever. So.
Classic. Yeah. No, my brother's an idiot.
I don't know if it works.
Well,
I don't know it works.
Yeah, I'm happy with what we did today. I've learned some things, and I'm going to casually say thank you so much for agreeing to talk with us, Sharptooth, and hopefully we can talk again. I picked your brain. I'm going to go through some of the movies that you recommended and tell you what I think of them. And don't be a stranger. You're here on the podcast, but you ever want to collab again, just drop me a line. You now have me on Discord. It's been an honor. If people want to go see you, you can go check out Sharptooth. That is SharpTouth on twitch.tv. Is there any other place that you want people to go and check out your stuff?
You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, and if you're feeling spicy, you can find me on Twitter. But be 18. Honestly, be 18 when checking me out in general.
Yeah, or else you're going to be.
If I find out you're a child, I will eat you.
On that happy note, hey everybody, my name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD. Have yourself a wonderful night. Arigato
Let's have a
gozaimasu.
Good night, Ara Ara.
Good night, everybody. Sleep tight. Ada, ada.
Ugh, God.
You were such a simp.
No, I am not.